We still got 4 kids inside. We can't get inside.
A minute-by-minute retelling of the valiant but unsuccessful effort to save 4 little girls' lives.
Some nights it brings tears to my eyes.
What really happened?
Welcome to True Crime Investigates. I'm your host, Anthony Greeno, and today we're going to talk about the Flora Fire. A tragic and unsolved arson case that claimed the lives of 4 young sisters in Flora, Indiana on November 21st, 2016. As we've reached the 7-year anniversary of this horrific crime, we'll take a look at the timeline and the events that have unfolded in this case, as well as the controversies and challenges that have plagued the investigation. We'll also hear from the mother of the victims, who is still seeking justice and closure for her daughters, and the authorities who are still working to solve this case. Or are they?
Some nights it brings tears to my eyes. Sometimes I try not to go past her.
The Flora Fire occurred around 3:30 a.m. on a Monday morning when a fire broke out in a house on East Columbia Street where Galen Rose lived with her 4 daughters. She was awakened by the smell of smoke in the household and tried to rescue her girls, 11-year-old Keyana Davis, 9-year-old Keyara Phillips, 7-year-old Kerriele McDonald, and 5-year-old Kionnie Welch. But she was unable to reach them due to the intense heat and flames. She managed to escape through a window and called for help. True Crime Investigates has obtained video of Yoder responding to the Flora Fire. The video is from a dashboard camera inside his patrol car. The camera is fixed, pointing through the windshield towards the front of the vehicle. The view is limited, but Yoder is wearing a microphone. Frequently, viewers will hear much more than they see. In the video, the only editing has been to eliminate profanity. 3:35 a.m. Yoder was patrolling just west of Flora. As he was rolling down South Sycamore Street, an alarm went out to police, fire, and emergency medical responders. House fire at 103 East Columbia Street. Callers to 911 say there are 4 children still inside. 3:36 a.m. Officer Dysinger arrived seconds before Yoder. In the dashcam video, the deputy ran past the front of his car towards the burning building. There was a brief exchange with Rose.
Where is it? Stay up. They're upstairs? Trust me, see? Trust me.
The warm, thick layer of smoke filled the first floor of the 2-story structure from top to bottom. A witness described visibility of only a foot to a foot and a half from the floor. Yoder's microphone picked up Dysinger, first talking to Rose, and then Yoder. Coughing heavily, Deputy Yoder tried to navigate up a narrow, smoke-filled stairway to reach Galen Rose's daughters. The girls shared a bedroom on the 2nd floor. Yoder's climb was complicated by the layout of the stairs. There was a longer flight from the ground floor, then a landing to the left, and a second, shorter set of steps. Those lead directly to the girls' bedroom. Rose desperately directs Yoder around that landing.
You go around the corner. Please. Go.
But the smoke proved to be too much. As he exited the home breathing heavily and groaning, Yoder got back on his police radio. 3:38 a.m. Yoder ran back to his patrol car and raced to the Flora Fire Department, which is not yet on scene of the blaze. The drive of just 4 blocks takes 24 seconds. The deputy is also a volunteer firefighter. He dashed inside, yelling to get the fire equipment moving. While Yoder is not seen, he is heard on the microphone. It sounds like he is quickly getting into his firefighting turnout gear. In less than a minute, Yoder is seen running back into his car and racing back to the fire. 3:40 a.m. Back at the scene, Yoder announces the fire department is on its way. Off camera, Deputy Yoder and Officer Dysinger, suited up with on-air packs, getting ready to re-enter the house. 3:42 a.m. Crawling on hands and knees, Yoder and Dysinger went back through the front door. Smoke was pouring through the door, and visible flames were starting to work towards the cops from the back of the house. But inside the house, just 2 minutes, something went wrong. Yoder is heard screaming. 3:45 a.m. An emergency call goes out. Officer down. A growing group of firefighters responding to the fire have an expanded assignment: rescue Yoder, Dysinger, and the 4 girls. Visible on the dashcam, flames were moving much more rapidly towards the front of the house. 3:47 a.m. The dinging of an alarm is heard. It signals that an air pack is low on oxygen. (3:54 a.m.) Firefighters would reach the officers and 3 of the girls and successfully get them out. CPR began immediately on the girls. 3:56 a.m. The 4th girl was brought out of the house. Feverish efforts to revive the girls continued. The video shows flames overwhelming the house, forcing firefighters to battle flames exclusively from the outside. Galen Rose, Drew Yoder, and Josh Dysinger were all taken to hospitals. The 4 sisters could not be resuscitated. All 4 dead as the fire continued to rage through the structure. What's going on, YouTube?
Hey everyone. Wow, that doesn't
That's
get your
intense.
heartstrings going.
That is very intense. That is
You did a phenomenal job on that one.
I try to do my best, to do it play by
I
play.
know
And,
you
I
do.
also used other people's content and stuff like that from footage and stuff, to make that. Thanks to Indie Archive for letting me use that footage of his.
Absolutely.
That
Indie
was,
is the best.
yeah, that
If
was
you
really,
haven't subscribed to Indie Archive, please go check them out. Can one of the mods make sure that they throw up Frosty's and Indie Archives links into the chat, please? It was very upsetting to watch, but very, very realistic. Mm. All right, everybody. So we are here tonight, and we are here to talk about the Flora fire. We
yes.
do have a special guest with us tonight. Um, I have a bunch of questions for her. Anthony, I'm sure you have questions for her.
Yep, I do.
Awesome. I kind of want to go and start at the beginning and give everybody an idea of who she is,
Okay.
how she knows the family. Get an idea of what the girls were like and what happened that night with the fire.
Exactly. At first I want to start off and I want to say thanks to Honeybee for dropping a super chat donation during the video
Yes,
of $20.
absolutely.
That's greatly appreciated. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate that very much.
Yes, we do.
So the Flora Fire case, Mark, before we bring in our guest, how long have you been following the Flora Fire case and how did you actually become aware of it?
I became aware of the floor fire case because of the Delphi case.
Okay. And I think most
Um,
people, same.
yes. So I think it was sometime after I started watching Delphi, I saw the Flora Four um case, and I know that I started when those documents got dropped, I started
Hmm.
reading some of the documents. But then I haven't had a chance. But like I told you, I want to pick it back up and become a voice for these four girls and for the families and friends. So,
That's good. I really like that. I got involved in the Flora fire investigation shortly after, just by looking into it and kind of seeing Denny Randall's role in the case. And
mhm,
and I've known the Randalls for a long time, and I think that our guest is she can attest to this. And I think she may share some of the same views as me when it comes to our political figures in law enforcement in Carroll County, which in turn has raised a lot of scrutiny upon the Delphi investigation. It's not just Delphi that we see corruption in or lies or things like that, ladies and gentlemen. It's Flora too. And Flora happened in November 2016. So 3 months later, the Delphi case happened and it blew up like crazy. In Flora, it just didn't have the
nothing.
coverage.
Right.
Um, we are in a predominantly Caucasian area of Indiana in the Midwest. There are very few African Americans or anybody of color that lives in this general area for a long time. It's more now than then, but for a long time, you would not see anybody with any kind of darker complexion in Carroll County or
Right.
White County. That's just the way it was. And, for this crime to happen, and especially amidst all the white supremacy talk with going on with the Odinism stuff in the Delphi case, it really leads people to believe this case may have been racially motivated as well, or that the two could be connected. But we're not going to talk about Delphi tonight, ladies and gentlemen. We want to
No.
focus on Flora. We know a lot of people come in here and they try to, it switches the subject over. These girls deserve just as much attention as Abby and Libby.
Yep.
And it's no
Exactly.
different. It's no different. There is a bench with all 6 of their names on it, not just 4, not just 2, 6. So,
And that goes to show the Flora mentality. You know, they had their own heartbreak, and yet they still included the girls in from Delphi. So we need to give Flora our focus, put Delphi on the shelf, and focus on these four little girls and tell their story the best that we can.
exactly. So we're dealing with 4 young sisters that lost their lives in Flora, Indiana, November 21st, 2016. 11-year-old Keyana Phillips,
9-year-old Kerriele McDonald, or 11-year-old Keyana Davis, 9-year-old Keyara Phillips, 7-year-old Kerriele McDonald, and 5-year-old Kionnie Welch. Sorry, sometimes it's easy to get them confused. It's like my kids. I call them all different names. All lost their lives in that fire that you guys just watched, and that's such a hard thing to watch. Marv, when the first time you saw that? Your thoughts watching it?
The first time I saw that, I had to watch it a few times because your focus is on the front door because that's where they're going in, but then my focus would transfer and I'm trying to watch where the flames start, and knowing that those 4 girls lost their lives because they couldn't get in there fast enough broke my heart.
Yeah.
And I did go to Flora on one of my trips, and I did drive by the house and take some pictures, and just seeing that house falling apart broke my heart even more.
While it was there, you were there. While it was there.
Thank God I went this last time, or the trip before. Yeah.
I'm glad that I made one final trip with Carly and her cousin. She asked about it. I was very surprised. Most people don't ask about Flora when they come, to Delphi or whatever, or even if they just come to see me, most people don't. And her response was, "Where's Flora? I would like to go see that Flora house. I've heard about it and I would like to see it." And when we went there, it was just like, that was the last time. And I got footage of it, and I'll see if I can find it during the live stream here and show you guys some footage of that day. It's like, that's something that's etched in me forever. You know what I mean? I asked for a brick from the area because this is a part of me. I feel so bad for those girls, and I feel so bad for what happened. And I want justice.
Well, what upset me the most, Anthony, is you've got these things that happen to really good people, very bad things that happen to them.
Yeah.
And these 4 girls lost their life in this house, and nobody really, it didn't seem like nobody really cared.
And if they did care, they didn't want to voice it.
The house sat there like that and just crumbled and everything. And you have the bench there, which is a great memorial, but no memorial by the house or anything like that. And I'm like, why aren't these and the news not picking up the story? How can that be?
Because they just get tired of it. You know what I mean? It's like, there's not going to be anything. And the mainstream media is just, they're in with like law enforcement and stuff. We see it. We see them buddy when we go to press conferences and stuff like that. They're all friends. So it's like, you know what I mean? But they're just more interested in the story and what's being politically correct. They're not necessarily interested in keeping the story alive, except once a year when the anniversary happens. Oh, police still seek tips. Call in with a tip. It's still unsolved. Later. It just gets shorter and shorter over the years. Look at Karina McClurkin's case. Jerry McClurkin over there. I watched that woman fight and fight and fight, and she came and took me, and we made videos and searched areas and protested the police department with signs and screaming where they ran from us and hid in the office and wouldn't talk to us on camera. Ladies and gentlemen, we have all that. We've done all this, to try to raise awareness for different cases. And the longer these cases go on, the quieter the police get about it when they can't solve it, and when they should just come out and be more transparent and say, you know what, man, we're at a standstill. We're not sure what's going to happen. We don't know. We need some help, and we need to know. We need more information from the public, and here's where we're at.
Right. I agree.
Yeah. Keeping it secret. We don't know what we need to do to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Anthony, let's bring on our guest. I'm so excited to talk to her tonight. And
okay, ladies and gentlemen, this is our guest from the Carroll County area. So her name is Kathy. Kathy, welcome.
Good evening, Kathy. How are you?
Hi, guys. I'm good. Thanks for having me on tonight. Sorry I got the sniffles. Anthony had me crying in the beginning. It's really hard to watch that every time it gets played.
It is.
I mean, it's rough. We really never knew it existed until the reporter Steve Brown from Fox 59 reached out to us, and he let me know that he had it. And Galen and I watched it together, and it was like, wow,
Yeah.
I just didn't know they had that, and I know for her, it was extremely traumatic because a lot of those things she didn't remember, so you put it together
Kathy,
very well, Anthony. Very well.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yes. So Kathy, I want to start out tonight.
He did. That was
I know a lot of people have heard about you, but I want you to tell us how long ago, how you met Galen, and that you lived in Florida at the time this happened, correct?
No, I've always lived in Delphi.
Oh, in Delphi.
No,
Okay.
I've always lived in Delphi. Yeah.
Okay, so just tell
I've
us,
lived in Delphi 23 years. And I know Galen's Aunt Jackie is the first person that I met. Okay. Galen's aunt, it's a long story, but she's my best friend. So that's how I met Galen, was through Jackie. I know Jackie's whole family. All Jackie's sisters, all Jackie's nieces, nephews. I mean, Galen calls me Aunt Kathy. They call me part of their family. I'm there for everything with them. Jackie's always been there for everything for me. When my mom died, she was right there next to me. When my father died, she sang at his funeral. These guys are my family.
Right.
They always have been. I'm there for them. They're there for me. So we have a good, with Galen, I met Galen when she was younger, when she was pregnant with her first daughter. She came and stayed with Jackie for a little while. That was, she worked, I think it was the McDonald's. I'm not really sure. We didn't have a big, she was young, she was a younger teenager, I was still going through stuff. But then Galen moved back after she had all of the girls. She had been living in California. She moved, her dad lived in Flora. He had moved, I think Tracy had lived there, I want to say a couple years, and he worked for the catering place over there. So, he had a home, and he was he had a stable job, and he's doing really good. That's Jackie's actual nephew. Galen's dad is Jackie's nephew. So Jackie is actually her great aunt. So a lot of people get accused because look, she's Aunt Jackie. Okay. Right. She is Aunt Jackie.
That's always what that's kind of what I've known her as.
I want to clarify that because you too. You've met Aunt Jackie. That's who she is. So, and so Galen, I helped she lived with her dad for, gosh, I want to say when she came, and I'm not 100% sure. I believe it was 2015, and it was towards the winter. She flew in from LAX, her and the girls, and it was cold because I remember Jackie said when they flew in, they had to go buy the girls' coats and stuff because they was all in shorts, and they come in from California. Yeah,
you're used to that warmer weather, and you come here and freeze.
Oh my gosh! Yes.
Yeah,
you're like, whoa. So and Galen was excited to come with the girls and to be with her dad and to start a new life, and just a new beginning, just a new beginning for her. So she lived with her dad probably I can't promise, but from when she came, it was either August or September, maybe November of that year. And then when she moved into the Flora home, I believe that was in the end of June in 2015. And then July, August, September, October, and November 21st. That's when the girls lost their life. So that's where that story begins. I mean,
yeah,
she had hardly lived in the community over a year.
Yeah, before we start that story, what were the girls like? I'm sure you were around them, being with the family and stuff. What were the four girls like?
They were full of joy. They were Gaylen's pride and joy. Each one had their different personality, but you could tell that Gaylen's oldest was her best friend. You know, Gaylen was young when she had her, so she helped her with the other girls, you know. They were beautiful. They were full of life. I mean, there's just a story that I remember one of my son's friends telling me that it was after they moved in there, and it might probably right after, the girls like to hang out on the front porch a lot, you know, because it had that porch and it was on the main road there. And so there in Florida, that main road, you have a lot of hog haulers, you know, that haul the pigs and trucks and semis. Those little girls would be out there just waving and doing that, you know, and when they would honk the horn, just the joy on their faces, you know, because this is things that, you know, being in a farming community and things like that, this was new to them. I mean, they were born and raised in Jefferson City, Missouri, and then they moved to California. I'm not 100% exactly how long they had been in California before they moved here. So just the small town
different
things,
lifestyle.
you know.
Were any of the girls born here in Indiana?
Flora. I believe all four girls were born in Jefferson City.
Okay.
Missouri. I'm almost 100% sure, but I could look at their death certificates and 100% tell you they're laying here somewhere.
Right.
That's
somewhere.
all right.
But no, Gaylen's mom and them, they lived in Jefferson City. Gaylen's sister, Gaylen's family, just the whole family, all the girls' dads, you know. So when she moved here, it was just a little different experience for the whole, you know,
Jefferson City. So all the girls' dads were from Jefferson
in the general area, I believe,
in that area.
probably.
I'm not in Missouri. I think from Missouri. Let's just say Missouri, because I can't promise everybody lived in Jefferson City.
Right.
Okay. Kathy, can you tell everybody, can you describe what the town of Flora is like what it was, you know, just kind of what the town's like? I mean, people hear a lot about Delphi. What's Flora like? You know, because we know the area. Describe it from your point of view. What's the town of Flora like?
Well, from my point of view, I mean, every time that's where our fair was. Okay, so we went there every year. They always have these little festivals over there, you know. I mean, I always thought it was a quaint little town. I never really experienced anything over there, but of course, you know, it's different for me. You know, I've never experienced anything, you know, racism or a lot of anything that
I think she froze.
I think you froze, Kathy. It may glitch. But
I know my whole screen just glitched.
Was it? It might have been her. Oh. Hold on, let me pull her in and out. Okay, Kathy, you're gonna have to remove from the studio and come right back in, okay? Okay. So while she does that, we're taking a look at the Flora house. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the firehouse here. It's no longer there.
No,
you
and
know?
that was good information to have. I guess I never knew that they were originally from Missouri, so they lived in one state, moved to California of all places.
Yeah.
Faster life, a lot more glitz and glamour in California, and depending where you are, and then to come to a little farm community. And when she said the kids would sit on the porch and watch the animals go by, and that, oh my gosh, I could see them, the four of them sitting there.
I can too. I can too.
Doing
And
the honking sign for the truck drivers and everything. Oh yeah.
yep, I mean, that's just something the little kids do, and that's something that we did
Right.
all growing up out there in the country, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So, like, it was nothing that's something I can totally see him doing, and I think that one of the things that broke my heart was the fact that, I watched my second cousin, um, go and lay flowers there on the sidewalk on the corner when I was over there filming. Kathy, your devices aren't there you go. Your devices aren't connected. That was probably one of the hardest things I've ever seen was to sit
Yeah,
and watch that, you know?
absolutely. And people there care. There was mementos and flowers and stuff left by the house, and they did create the beautiful, beautiful bench they have. Um, so that people do care. It's just something that's what is it with these cases? It seems like some of this is taboo and they just don't want to talk about it after it happens.
You mean like with Flora?
Tabitha, Flora,
Right. Yeah.
the community's really locked down and don't say anything at all.
Well, I think that when it comes down to Carroll County and Indiana in general, I would say, speaking as someone who's from Indiana and just kind of knows how the people are in that general area. Everybody's different in certain areas, right? You would know people in your area versus me. Your devices are not connecting for some reason, Kathy. There may be something wrong if you can hear me. But it's not that they don't care, but they rely heavily on news and law enforcement, and they trust the law enforcement because most of Indiana is older individuals, I would say, that lives out in the farm, country. They're not a bunch of social media people there. They're not all over the internet. Carroll County was just, I mean, it made the news that they had broadband internet installed like last year,
Yeah, but I'm not even talking about the internet. I'm talking about the community itself.
Well,
in those communities,
I think we're scared.
Totally shut down.
Yeah, I think they're scared. I mean, if you go talking against these people here, you could end up in jail or prison or dead. I mean, and that's been a history.
Yeah.
And that's scary to people. It's just kind of like people sit back and be like, yeah, don't mess with those people because you just don't mess with those people. I mean, they've taught me some lessons, that's for sure.
They just live with it. Basically.
They live with it.
They don't try to change it. They just live with it.
In fear. And it's hard to change it because they run the political ball game there, which is sad. But if you can get enough people to vote an opposite way, I still think that there would be, I mean, Donald Trumping going on or whatever you guys call it, because there would be a lot of corruption going on probably to win those seats anyway. I mean, we've seen what happened with Mike Thomas. I mean, he got booted out because he went against the way that it was. So
true. Very true.
Okay, Kathy, you keep coming in. It says device is not connected. I'm not sure what is the deal with that. What's happening there? Yeah, I'm not sure.
Poor girl. She's trying, everybody. She's definitely trying.
You're definitely trying, Kathy. You will figure it out. It will work. Just keep trying it. We got all the time in the world for you. Man, look at that. There's where the house was.
See, that's what I mean. Oh, it just bothers me that they didn't even level out the land and bury the crud. They just left it. It's like, just tear it down, get it out of sight so nobody remembers it. Don't make it look presentable and respectable, And I'm sure we're never going to see an actual memorial on there unless the family does it.
Well, I mean, I don't think that Josh Ayers would allow it. I think he's going to try to wash that away. Like, yeah, we don't want whoever wants to buy this lot or build a house here to know what happened, even though someone will tell them. Right?
I just sent it to her, Jinx.
Okay, I see it. It popped up. Yeah, everybody, hit the like button to show your support. Share this on social media and get the word out there. If you're in any Flora groups on Facebook or anything like that, or if you post on Reddit, if you're one of those Reddit people, share this and kind of let everybody know. The video I made at the beginning was part of the Flora Fire 7-year anniversary video that I aired on the anniversary in November. So it's just a couple months old, but it's the most recent video, and it uncovers the corruption that involved with the fire investigation, with the fire marshal lying in his report about accelerants being found and then changing it. What do you think his motive was behind? I mean, what's the reasoning that the fire marshal, whose son was the fire chief in Florida, everybody, Dennis Randall was the former sheriff. What could be a motive behind him just lying about that, Marv? Why would he say the fire was an accident when he knew it wasn't?
Incompetence. I mean,
could it have just been laziness and him saying, you know what, fire was an accident?
Well, laziness, incompetence, not really looking into it, not really caring to look into it.
Yeah.
That's why I say incompetence.
Yeah.
That's what it seemed like to me. He looks through things, but he didn't really look through things. And if he was that experienced and everything, he should have seen that there was an accelerant.
He should have seen that there was an accelerant, and he wasn't truthful about any of that stuff. And I don't
And he had trouble in his past, so it's not surprising that he either lied about this or covered up the fact that he knew that there was accelerants, or didn't look into it far enough to know that there was accelerants until he got caught by somebody else saying, hey, you had accelerants at that location.
Well, that's the thing, is the private investigator from Michigan said that Dennis Randall lied in his report and that there were accelerants found and it was impossible to miss. And when confronted with those allegations, Randall just quit his job.
Well, that right there tells you incompetence.
And
when the going gets tough, he just runs away. Yep.
It's exactly what he does. He runs away because he's I don't know how to put it, man. He's not a good dude. He runs away from the situation because he doesn't want to have to speak to the media. He thinks that what he did was not wrong. Or if he does think what he did was wrong, he certainly is doing his best to hide it. I mean, why quit your job as a public official and just say, no, I'm not talking about this. I think that everything I did was great and perfect.
Because you're a coward.
Because he's a coward. He's the former sheriff.
You can't admit that you're not right and that these 4 girls yeah, Jinx, give me a minute. I just saw your thing. I forgot where I was going. I'm sorry. Coward. Anthony's froze up now. We're having all kinds of internet issues there. So it looks like I'm the only one, and I think I got the worst internet of all. Jinx, can you text me the link? Yes, give me a minute. I know that Kathy's having trouble with internet. Looks like Anthony's having trouble. We'll get back onto our conversation here in just a moment. There you are.
Yeah, I know. Here I am.
Yeah, but it's just a night of having issues.
I know it is having issues tonight. The internet's having some issues today, ladies and gentlemen. Don't know what it is, but they're having some issues. But you know what? So what I was going to do was, while we were sitting here waiting on Kathy to come back in, I was pulling something up. Hello, everybody. Internet is too cold tonight. You know what? It might. Dennis Randall's a coward. Dennis Randall is a coward. You know, he's not he's not been good for this case at all. He caused the scrutiny from the beginning. He took that information from the start and made it to where we're at today. Let's take a look at Dennis Randall.
3:56 a.m. The fourth girl.
Sheriff, also being on the fire department here.
Dennis Randall, the former sheriff of Carroll County, was the state fire marshal who investigated the incident. His son, Adam Randall, the Flora fire chief, assisted him in that investigation. Dennis Randall originally listed the fire as accidental, stating that he believed that it was something in the house that caught the fire. Canine units were brought in to search for traces of accelerants, but none were found. Fast forward 2 months. A private investigator from Michigan determined that Randall lied in his report and that there were accelerants found at the crime scene. Now, a quick flip in the report, the fire was labeled as an arson. The investigation, described as active by the Indiana State Police, has not produced an arrest in 7 years. Before a final decision was made to air the dashcam video, Galen Rose did ask to see it. It was immensely difficult for her to watch, but she supports sharing the video to the public. Rose hopes the video will generate tips from the public that may finally bring the investigation to a close. The toll-free number to set up a tip is Indiana State Police at 1-800-382-4628. You do not have to give your name to provide information. The fire was initially ruled as undetermined, but later reclassified as arson in January 2017, after investigators found evidence of accelerants in multiple locations inside the house. A reward fund was established for information leading to an arrest, but no suspects have been identified or charged in the case. The investigation has faced several challenges and controversies over the years, such as the resignation of the original fire investigator, Dennis Randall, who worked for the Indiana Department of Homeland Security as the fire investigator. He is the father of Adam Randall, who was the Flora fire chief at the time of the fire and also resigned later. According to some emails obtained by True Crime Investigates, Dennis Randall had changed his report on the fire from undetermined to accidental to arson against the agency's wishes without consulting other investigators or providing any explanation. He also claimed that he had not found accelerants inside the house, but a private investigator uncovered these inconsistencies and raised doubts and questions among other investigators and agencies involved in the case, such as the Indiana State Police, the ATF, and the National Institute of Justice. It also caused confusion and frustration for the mother of the victims, who felt that she was not getting the truth or justice for her daughters. When confronted with this information, Dennis Randall resigned in June 2017, shortly after media outlets confronted him with emails and asked him to explain his actions. He did not give any reason for his resignation, but said that he was proud of his work and that he had followed the standards and protocols of his profession. The Carroll County prosecutor, Robert Ives, asked all agencies involved in the Flora investigation to avoid further discussion of the case, which could impact successful prosecution in the future. That caught my attention and only made me question why he wanted everyone to remain silent. In a moment, we share the emails between True Crime Investigates reporter Anthony Greeno and former Carroll County prosecutor Robert Ives. But first, let's take a look at the notable people involved in this investigation. Now let's flash back and provide a brief on some questionable circumstances surrounding officials in Carroll County. Let's start with Dennis Randall. Carroll County council members say Sheriff Dennis Randall should not be in charge of providing meals to the jail. That said, he should also be paid an appropriate salary. The idea of allowing any sheriff to supplement his salary with funds from jail meals is a slippery slope. It creates a moral dilemma for the sheriff and places him in an uncomfortable position. It allows temptation and opens the door for abuse. By cutting corners, he is able to earn extra money that he very well may deserve, but on the contrary, money illegally earned. Council said at the time, if the Carroll County Sheriff, whoever he or she may be, continues to provide meals to the jail, at some point that service will be exploited. Randall was slated to be paid a salary of $42,962 in 2006. The County Council extended a salary offer of $66,000 per year to Randall, provided that he relinquished the jail meals. That figure represents 2/3 of the salary of a full-time county prosecutor. He denied the offer. Randall then asked for $72,500 instead, a raise of over $29,000. But what is clear is this: Sheriff Randall is being unreasonable and should accept the $66,000 salary and be glad to get rid of the duties of purchasing food and preparing meals 365 days a year. Alternately, the council should not hesitate to pay him $72,500 per year if they find that is the only way to change the system. The council also said it is illegal for the sheriff to profit off of jail food money. Dennis Randall responded with, "I don't profit from jail meal funds. Any money left over, I keep." That is considered making a profit, council members exclaimed. Carroll County Council President Rob Baker announced at a council meeting he and Commissioners President Bill Brown met with and offered Randall the $66,000 to get rid of the jail meal responsibility. Randall's answer was simple: no. Baker said, according to the Association of Indiana Counties, the sheriff must be in agreement to surrender control of jail meals. In this situation, Randall was not in agreement. Councilmember John Blackburn disagreed. Blackburn said, according to Indiana statute, the council can assume the meal responsibility from Randall for $66,000. Council members Steve Ashby and Nancy Kripe said they were in favor of paying Randall $66,000 and taking over the meals. But Baker said the end-of-the-year timeline for accomplishing the goal was not going to be met, to which Blackburn responded, "A timeline is not an issue. We don't have a contract with the sheriff for this." Blackburn referred to a letter of concern about a jail condition written to Randall by County Prosecutor Robert Ives. The letter, distributed to council members prior to the meeting, referred to complaints Ives' office has received about jail meals and starving the inmates. It turns out Dennis Randall was starving the inmates, as all of them were victims of malnutrition. "We need to know what page we're on," Ashby said. "We need a legal opinion about this before we can decide what to do." Council members' consensus was to obtain County Attorney Barry Emerson's legal opinion, revisit the issue with the AIC, and discuss it at a later date. "It sounds like things have been fairly ironed out," Baker said to Randall, "but we need something like a document presented so we can vote on it." Ironically, now that Randall wasn't getting a pay raise, he made more pleas for county funds. A request by Randall right after that for $5,000 for medical services at the jail was unanimously denied. Randall said that a detainee suffered a concussion and a broken shoulder in an altercation at the facility recently. That person was taken to an emergency room, and those costs are not covered by the county's medical provider, he said. Randall explained that he did not want to use money currently in his budget because it was marked for replacing a stove in the jail's kitchen and repairing or replacing furnaces before the end of the year. Consensus of council members was for Randall to move funds within his own budget to cover the medical costs. However, Randall refused to do so. And it took 4 years for the family members of the late James Huffer.
Okay, before we get into all that right there, that's on a different subject, ladies and gentlemen. Marv, you're muted, just so you know. 1734. Okay, so we're 1734. Someone remember that.
Yeah, we want to play this video in parts because we want, with Kathy having issues, we're going on the fly. We're going to tell you about Flora, and it's important to know about Randall.
It is important to know about Randall. It's important to know about the players that are involved with this, because if you don't know the backstory, you don't know the story in full. and you got to know who these individuals are and the things that they've been involved in prior to this that kind of show a history of their being scandalous, corrupt, money driven, and sometimes racially motivated, openly.
Thank you so much, Gladys. We appreciate it.
Yes, and that's cool. I like those things. Hit those like purple hearts for Flora, everybody.
You betcha.
I like those. I like seeing those in the chats.
And if Kathy's having issues due to weather or whatever, we'll get her on here again. Don't worry about it. There's a lot of things that I want to talk to her about, having firsthand knowledge. We're bringing the awareness back to Flora. But Jinx, Honeybee, one of you, I'd also like you to drop Coach Kev's link in the chat. He's doing phenomenal work on this case. Also, and we're going to work with him in the future. So just drop his link so that everybody has his link so that they can watch his coverage, because he's doing an excellent job bringing awareness to this case right along with us. Okay, thank you. So Anthony Randall. Oh.
Dennis Randall. So he's the sheriff. He was the sheriff in Carroll County for a long time. His son, Adam Randall, was the Flora fire chief. His brother, John, was the lead jailer and bailiff in Carroll County. His wife worked for the family thing. And his wife worked for the prosecutor. They also owned a business called Jail Meals, Inc., where they distributed meals to the jail. So if we see that they all kind of had their hands in that, Randall was caught profiting from the jail meal funds, starving the inmates. It went as far as this, ladies and gentlemen. When Hurricane Katrina happened in Louisiana, they went down there. It was a big thing in the newspaper. Carroll County Sheriff and deputies go help Katrina. He went down there and stole rice from Katrina for the hurricane victims. He stole it and brought it back in big truckloads to feed the inmates rice, okay, like a Chinese prison, rice, and to pocket the funds. That way he could do remodeling on his house and build a whole brand new deck and a cement slab and a pool area. And he got caught doing that. He got caught doing that.
What a sleaze.
That is horrible, dude. I mean,
and he's the one in charge of this case in the beginning.
He was, yes.
It was doomed from the beginning.
From the beginning. Yeah. He's had a history of this. This isn't anything new for Dennis Randall. That's just what he is. He's that type of person. A private investigator.
Can you answer Gladys's question here? Why did the private investigator come in January, and who hired them?
I don't know who hired them. It was a private investigator from Michigan,
right,
that came in to work on this case. He was a private arson investigator. I don't know who hired him, how that came about, but I'm assuming he was hired by someone legit, because his findings held merit enough for them all to, the state police and everybody kind of followed his lead. So I don't know who hired it, but apparently people thought that Dennis Randall may have been a little bit shady in the beginning. Maybe that's why they hired him. Maybe the police did. I don't know. But then they did another.
Thankfully, they brought him in.
Well, they brought another agency in too. The Indianapolis Fire Department did a peer review on the Flora fire, and they did their own investigation into it and determined that the findings were accurate by the private investigator, that there were accelerants found in one location, not multiple, like they changed it and said, in the back of the house. Someone set that fire from the back of the house, and we can see that in the footage, the dash cam footage.
Exactly.
The fire comes from behind and moves forward, not the front and back.
And now, okay, so I know Kathy's not here, but I know you have a lot of knowledge about this case. Where was the staircase to go upstairs inside the house? Where was the staircase in the house to go up the stairs where the girls were compared to where that fire was started? Do you remember?
Yeah, so I actually have a picture of it on here. So we're at 1734 on that video. What I'm going to do is slide back everybody on this video that I'm going to pull back up here on the screen and see if I can find it in that dash cam video.
So
Because
to the left of the front door, Jinx says.
okay. So whenever it gets there, we will show it. It does talk about that here in just a minute on this video. You know, whenever it gets to the actual fire itself. Yeah, I'll show you guys. So look, there's videos. I don't know where those videos are or whatever, but we'll find out. So to the left of the front door. So when you go into the front door, it looks like the stairs were to the left. They had to go up a longer set of stairs and then a shorter set of stairs and then like a landing, right? Around it, up a tiny little set and then into a bedroom. So it was kind of like one of those staircases that go up, flat, turn. You know what I mean? So I could see that in a very smoke-filled house, which you can hear him coughing so bad.
Right, but where was so where was the fire actually? The fire was started in the back of the house. That stairway is more in the front of the house.
Now, here's my question. The stairway on the side of the house, where did that lead to?
Yeah.
The one on the right side of the house. When you're looking at the house, the stairway on the right side would be on this side of the house from that dash cam video that we'll see here in just a second. And when it pulls up on that screen, I'm going to show you guys what those photographs look like, where they show us the type of stairs. See, she's like, you go around the corner.
So my understanding is yes, that the fire started in the kitchen, which was more in the middle towards the back, you know, more I call it the middle, but it wasn't a very big house to begin with.
Right, we're looking at it.
And so it's like, why weren't the girls, when the fire first started, why weren't they able to get down?
Well, that's a good question. Why weren't they able to get down? Okay, here we go. Here's photographs. Okay, I just missed it. All right, so that was 6:15. All right, so here we go. So the photographs are getting ready to come up. You're about to see a photograph. Okay, so I'm going to make this on the big screen, everybody. And it looks like Kathy's back. All right, so look. So we walk in. Kathy, we're going to pull you in here. Kathy, what are we looking at right here? When we walk in the front door, where are we at?
Okay, that's
what are we looking at right here?
Okay, that's the dining room. That's the dining room.
Okay.
So, and that's the stairwell that went up to the kids' bedroom. And this wall right here that you're looking at, I'm pointing at it, I'm sorry, but that is the wall going into the kitchen. And the refrigerator was right behind that wall right there. And then see
on the right or left?
Well, that big archway is the living room.
Yes.
And that's where the front door was.
Right. Okay, so you go through the front door. So Yoder and Dice here would have came in from the left over there through that room. Okay. Right. Yes. And then under this archway and then turn left and tried to go up those stairs, correct?
Up the stairs to a landing. Now listen, to a landing. Then from the landing to the left, there was a couple more stairs. And then there was another landing. And then to the right into the bedroom.
Okay, like that. Into the bedroom. Yes. So there's the right into the bedroom. Okay.
Yes,
and here's
the right
bedroom.
into the bedroom right there. And right outside that door right there. And I know I'm pointing again. Outside that door there is where those two steps was. And then he had
on the right. Yep.
That landing. Yeah. And then there was a landing. And then he rounded the corner and then down those stairs.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? Okay. Yeah. I'm sorry, guys.
That makes sense.
To my iPad. Oh, Lynn. Oh,
you're okay, Kathy.
Yeah, I was, and then I couldn't get my tablet working here, so it was like, oh my God, everything was like whatever.
So what are your memories of that night?
Well, so my memories are, because I have a couple days worth of memories, because the girls was on that cheerleading squad through the champion force, and Jackie's son and his wife and their daughter also was on the same team. And then Jackie's daughter-in-law, she was one of the coaches. So, and
Okay.
I want to think it was the Lafayette team. So I believe back then they were still called the Lafayette Diamonds. I'm not really sure because I mean they still have the same team. So yeah, she did that, and the girls, Jackie took them I think once or twice a week. So my own granddaughter is in that too now, so
Aw.
she loves it. So they do these competitions, okay, and so when you practice, and it's what is it, the where they lift you and all that stuff. I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
it's so cute. It is just adorable. So they get all these uniforms. Well, then you have to get hair done, and it has to be, in a
Yep.
certain
Makeup.
way, and
Yep.
and so all 4 little girls. So it started kind of like on Thursday at Jackie's house. So
Okay.
everybody was over there. I went over, and they're practicing their cheers, and their makeup they wear is like a glitter,
Yep.
and this is the first time they'd ever done something like this. So they were so excited. And then just to get their hair all prettied and done. And I'm not saying that their hair didn't get pretty and done all the time, because Gaylen Rose kept those hairs perfect. Look at
Right.
those. Did you see those? Oh, now, okay. So the oldest one was rebelling a little here, okay, in this picture, this school picture. But see these hairs here, that not one little hair on those heads would be out of place.
Right.
She just loved them girls and taking care of her little girls. This is like her dolls. So that couple days, Friday night, I was back over there. We had hair done already. Now we were getting all the makeup on, and the girls were just in the living room. Jackie had like a little den down there, and they were all down there cheering and screaming and lifting
Aw.
each other, and it was just exciting. And I knew they were leaving very early the next morning to head up there. And it's an all-day event, because what they do is they bring in
Mhm.
kids from all over the state of Indiana. So it would be the kids from northern Indiana, and then like the
Yep.
southern Indiana kids would be in another place. So, and
Right.
then they do divisions. So, and
Yep.
each girl was in it like a different division. I think there's division 1 or 2. So the little ones had the little tiny, and I mean,
Aw.
Jackie did a lot of filming and things like that. It was a long day because it was up in Fort Wayne.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
And yeah, because
Yeah.
the last one that I went to was in Indianapolis. So they came back late at night. Jackie took them home. They went to bed, Saturday night, or it was early. It was early, but probably 1, 2, maybe something like that. I guess maybe Sunday morning or whatever. And she just kind of had her normal day. I'm not 100% what she did that day, because
Right.
I'm not 100% sure. I know that
That's okay.
there was, I believe she had to work that morning. I believe she did. I'm not sure. I know that the oldest had a basketball game that evening that she went to. I know that she had to get up really, really early in the morning, because the gas station there in Flora opened like at 5. And and they had food. They do
Yeah.
hot foods and stuff
Oh
like that.
yeah.
Yeah, and because Galen had already been pulled over by Drew Yoder driving her dad's truck with Piddle in the back seat,
Yeah.
and he kind of Galen, because he'd saw her in the gas station, so he knew, and he just told her to get her license, and
Right.
get that straightened out, and he was really nice to her. So he knew who she was, and then he would talk to her when he would go in there, things like that. So she walked to work, okay, guys, because she wasn't gonna be pulled over again. So
Yeah.
she would walk early in the morning. So to get there, it was a pretty decent walk. What is it, Anthony? You think mile and a half? I don't know.
From there to what's the gas station?
Yeah, that
Yeah.
marathon when you first
Yeah,
come
it's
into
about a
town. So
mile.
she walked. That it's not like she was driving anymore. She'd already got pulled over in her dad's truck. So she had some visitors. I can't 100% say exactly who those guys are. I know that one of them was Jennifer Barnes.
Yep,
Anthony,
I
you
know
know who she
Jennifer.
is.
Yep,
Yeah,
and Snoop,
and then
Corey.
yeah,
Yep,
Cordine Smith. Yeah, those two.
Smithy.
From that, she went to bed. The girls
Because she had to
went
get up early.
upstairs. Yeah, because she had to go to work, and the girls had school,
Right.
and they had their routine. Galen would go and to work, and the older girl would help get the kids up and get them ready, and I'm not sure how long Galen worked, if she worked 4 hours or whatever, but she would be back. They'd get on the bus. But that morning, what I remember is waking up early, 4:30. Or whatever, 4:00, 3:30, I don't even know.
Right.
And I turn on the TV and I see something, and then the phone's ringing, and it's Jackie, and all I remember is Jackie screaming, "They're gone, they're gone!" And I'm like, "Who's gone, Jackie? Jackie, who is gone?" She just literally, I could not understand her. She was screaming and crying so hard, and she's on her way to Flora, and as I'm looking, the TV is showing the house. And the firefighters, it was on the news already. So it had to be 4 a.m. by then, or 4:30 something, because I can't even tell you the time that the fire started. I have it like right here. I have none of this memorized. I'm not as good as everyone else.
That's all right.
I just, those things I don't remember. From there, I just remember Jackie calling me back and saying that that the girls were gone, that Galen was in really bad shape, and they took her, and she needed me. So I ended up just calling in work and jumped in my car, and I drove straight up to the hospital, and I sat with Galen's grandma until Jackie and some of the other family could get there. And that's pretty much.
Yeah. So what were Galen's injuries?
Galen had severe smoke inhalation. She had some, she was covered in, you couldn't tell, but just soot and everything all over her clothes. They had her ventilated, and she was completely out of it. I'm not sure how long she was in the hospital. I do know that in one of the civil court documents here, it does list her injuries. So, if you have a
that's all right.
to look at those,
but she had major smoke inhalation.
Oh yeah, she
I think all of them did from going there.
When and this is her cousin worked there at the hospital that Galen was taken to, and so she pretty much was back there with Galen. She was a nurse, and she stayed back there with her a long time. Especially while she was bad. At one point, before they moved her upstairs, they did come and get us, and I went back with Jackie and her grandma and them, and all I remember is her it just seemed like there was just tears just rolling out of her eyes, like she was out of it, but still knowing that her girls were gone. Because I know Jackie told me when she got there, she kept asking, "Jackie, where are my girls? Where are my girls?" And they were already gone. They were already moved to the fire department by the time Jackie got there. So Jackie didn't even see the girls. Jackie kept screaming for them. "Where's the girls? Where's the girls?" And they were already gone. They moved them. I don't know how they moved them. I don't know at what point they moved them. I don't know who called their death. I know nothing. It's all a secret. It's a secret. Why is it a secret? It shouldn't be a secret. We shouldn't have, this county shouldn't have to pay $40,000 to keep the 911 secret.
Dispatch. Exactly. You're right about that. They shouldn't have. Yeah. They shouldn't be doing that. Why? What do you think the motive is behind all this? What's the reasoning for keeping all the secrecy? Is it really to protect the integrity of the investigation?
Well, I've heard a lot of things. So in 7 years, I know everybody has seen all the documents on Reddit or on Discord, or I mean, there's lots of them out there. There's the whistleblower letter. There's a picture of Adam Randall's tattoo. There's so many things. In 7 years, I mean, I collected a lot of documents that I really got tired of holding on to. And there was some sort of police reports. There's so much. Even the civil case documents are thick. I mean, just ridiculous, just ridiculously thick. You have emails from fire investigator Mike Vergon, ATF investigator, you know, in the beginning, from insurance investigators saying, hey, something's wrong here. Why did Denny Randall release this? What the hell happened here? You know, and you know, in civil court, when sitting in the court with Galen, and they're talking about smoke detectors. Guys, there was one smoke detector that was found, and it was found on the steps. It's in those pictures. I have all the pictures too. It was laying right there, and there was no batteries in that. Now, guys, you know, they want to say that Galen and them took the batteries out of that. But when you look in that house, those are high ceilings, okay? Go up the steps, look up. Do you know she would have had, that was hanging upstairs, up the stairs at the top. They would have had to have a ladder. And who's going to
stand on a chair to go take batteries out of that thing?
Yeah, why?
Exactly.
There was one.
Right.
And then the second smoke detector that they say was in that house was supposedly in the kitchen, okay, hanging in the kitchen where the microwave was, okay? And supposedly after 5 years, that smoke detector was found behind the microwave. But it's amazing that in 5 years, or however long it was, 3 years or whatever, they're saying that the Indiana State Police investigated it, Denny Randall investigated it, all these people investigated, but no one ever found a smoke detector behind the microwave.
Okay, so Kathy, when it comes to the smoke detectors, people said that they thought they heard the smoke detectors going off in the footage and stuff like that.
No, that is an on-air pack. That is an on-air oxygen pack.
Okay,
that is an on-air oxygen pack indicating that it is low on oxygen. I mentioned that in the video. The alarms that you're hearing are the police. They put on the air packs, and Yoder and Dysinger go into the house. What you're hearing is the air pack telling them that they have limited oxygen remaining in that air pack, and to leave the area that they're in immediately.
Yes,
and,
right, because they're
and
not
Yoder
protected.
is screaming. And Yoder is screaming at that time.
Okay.
But
so
in
happened.
The civil documents, Marv, there is mention that when Josh Ayers and Troy Helderman got to the scene, so of course, you know, when Galen came out screaming and yelling, and the next door neighbor, which was
okay, so you're getting ahead of me, Kathy. Hang on one second.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Carly.
Perfect. So here's my next question. This happens. You get Galen in a position where she's better physically, not mentally. What are you told about what happened that night from Galen?
Okay, so I gotta think here. Galen never said a lot about anything that I know of during the funerals or after the funerals. I know she was questioned by and this is where I'm not really sure. So the fires happened, and then 2 weeks later, Robert Ives takes the Carroll County Sheriff's Department off the case and assigns it to the Indiana State Police. So she was interviewed by
someone.
Okay, so the day the fire happened, and someone came from Indianapolis from the headquarters, and talked to Jackie and I. And Jackie gave them like a diagram where everything was at in the home, the microwave, everything. We told them, you know, the stove, this was here, this was, you know, all that. And then when Galen was at her grandmother's, then someone from there talked to her. Now, I can't tell you who it was for sure. Was it Todd Trent? I don't know, because he's, you know, the fire chief over there in Flora. Or was it someone from headquarters that came and spoke to her? After that, then she spoke to IPS, that's the school there, Indiana
ISP.
State Police, ISP, yeah. She spoke to ISP, that's so funny, ISP twice. And they were two different detectives, okay? And one of them is not on the case anymore. And I believe Brock Russell was the other, but I can't promise you. Those were the ones that she spoke to early on.
Okay.
Early on, she tried to, she had an attorney. Okay, so in November, so it happened November, December. It wasn't determined a arson until January 29th, 30th, something like that, when Denny Randall released the news release to all the press release to all of the news stations. So you have to understand that she thought it was electrical because of the problems.
That's what Randall said.
Right.
Yeah,
and that's
Randall said he lied about that. So
the upstairs neighbor, nobody talks about the upstairs neighbors, so we're going to talk about them now. I'm not going to say their names. I'll just not do that because they were home. Their daughter was not home with them. She was gone that evening. When I don't know. I have nothing. I know who they are. I don't know what their statements ever was. I don't know a lot about them. For some odd reason, I have a recording of a police officer talking to this kid, you know. But they had a smoke detector that was going off. Only theirs.
So the upstairs neighbor had a smoke detector going off because of the fire downstairs.
Correct. And see, every time that, they moved in there about the same time Galen did. Or no, actually, Galen was there before them, because in his recording, when he's talking to the police, I think he said that his girlfriend took care of everything and that they'd only been there like 4 months. But every time they would do something upstairs electrical, they would have to go downstairs through that garage door, go up the little steps into that little back porch area and reset the breakers. Because that's where their breakers were. Yeah, if you look at that garage, Anthony, or the door, there's, you could go through the garage or around the side.
Yeah, the garage is on the side there, right there by the stairs. Yeah, it's just to the right of the stairs. Yeah.
And see, when you went into her kitchen, when you were looking at that one, you went through that kitchen door, you would go to the right and there was another door there, and that went to that back porch. And then from that back porch, there were stairs that went down into the garage area, and then there were steps that went down into a small basement. Okay. Yeah, and that's where they did, where the washer and dryer and stuff was. And then there was the back door that went off from the back of the house where those steps were. It was an odd shape. Yeah, when they took it down, it was like, wow, it's so odd on the inside.
I bet.
Let me ask you this,
well,
Kathy.
Those type of houses are a firefighter's worst nightmare.
Yeah, I'm sure they are.
Because of how they've cut the walls, and they, because the fire vents up through walls that they've put fake walls in. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of makes it worse.
It almost seemed kind of ironic that they did a fire blitz, smoke detector blitz, directly after that, where Dennis Randall and the state fire marshals, they issued a countywide ordinance where the state fire marshal
That was
got to
after
go
Abby
into.
Libby was murdered. Now,
Yep.
Anthony,
No, but they
that
were
was
able to go into
after
like Randall.
Abby and Libby, and they have never done it again. And they went house to house, and Denny Randall came straight to this house and did mine right after
Yep.
Abby and Libby was murdered. You tell me. They came down the street with fire trucks. There were shit tons of them everywhere. I don't want to discuss that.
Well, here's what they did, everybody. So nobody knows what
You
they
think
did.
that
So they
really
came in.
had anything to do with the fire in Flora?
No, but I think that it was a way that they could use to get into people's houses to see what's going on in there.
No, Anthony.
Like, hey, we're going to do a smoke detector blitz. And they go in there and just kind of peek around and be like, hey, man, listen, we know where's some activity going on. We can go in there and bust some people.
And it was, well, I don't know if it was just to bust people. I mean, because they were knocking on your door and asking, and you could see them coming down the road. They did announce it in the paper that they were going to do it. But I think it was a way, because look, a lot of people weren't coming forward after that when they asked, you know, if people would give DNA and stuff like that. I mean, Jackie took care of an elderly guy and he was and he got turned in and they went there. So to get his DNA. So I think that kind of had to do with, let's go through the community and find people we don't know.
Right.
But they're the murderer. I mean, yeah, that's what they did. I mean, and
okay,
I don't
so
know how shady it is.
Well,
yeah.
Go ahead, Marv.
So getting back to it, did Galen ever explain to you what happened that night from her point of view? Or has she pretty much kept that to herself?
She doesn't really remember a lot.
She doesn't really remember. Okay.
Except for what she remembers is getting up and that I know of, and the smoke like coming out of her room, and realizing that there was a lot of smoke in the house, and that she went around the corner and started screaming for the girls. And this part, I think she remembers this. And that's the only thing I know is screaming for the girls and then outside because she got overcome by the smoke. And then I think we hear the rest there, because she said when she got up that, I mean, like, she got up because she was, you know, about time to get ready to go to work or whatever. You know, she always woke up early, and when she came out of her room, there was the smoke, and she was screaming for the girls because it woke them up. It woke up the older girl, and I want to think the second to the oldest was also up out of her bed, and then one was still in bed and the other one was under the bed, I believe. So yeah, I think they heard her scream. Yeah, I really do.
They heard her scream and woke up.
Yeah. And at some point, the neighbor, the Ayers guy, Adam Ayers, had thrown a rock through the upstairs window. Now, was this prior to the fire department? It was like at some time, because he's also the person that when she
you can
came
see him
out
running
of the house,
by, right?
Who?
Can you see him? You can
Ayers?
see him. You can see him walk by, right, in one of the videos, in the video dash cam.
And I'm not sure if the one in the shorts was Adam Ayers or if that wasn't the upstairs neighbor, Anthony.
Okay.
So yeah, that guy that come walking by with the jacket and shorts on, because in the first video, when Drew Yoder pulls in, you see a minivan backing out next door. That's the next door neighbor's minivan backing their van out with their kids in it, I believe, because she did go back in. I mean, Galen's out screaming. Did she go next door and knock? I know that I've heard that the next door neighbors were awake, laying in bed, and they heard it, and they got up and come out. And then Adam Ayers ran over with Galen to the front door as she's trying to direct him to, I believe, or she's at some point, and he's down on his knees. And this is a lot in the paperwork. And he tried to go in. He went back home. At this time, Elizabeth Ayers is calling Josh Ayers, the cousin to Adam Ayers, to tell him his house is on fire. Within 6 minutes, that's like a 6 minutes
Yeah.
as she's talking to him. Then she calls 911. Josh Ayers does not call 911. He calls Troy Helderman. So
his partner.
Yeah, the other guy that owns the house. So she calls him. He gets up and he calls the other guy. 6 minutes later, her phone call comes into 911. And then within so many seconds, the upstairs neighbor, she had a 911 call too. That's where I believe you hear the fire alarm going off. And that's what I think's on that 911. They don't want to release for God only knows why. Because I don't know. Because that can be the only thing, because in the actual civil documents, Josh Ayers swears it was going off. There was a fire alarm going off. He heard it. He heard it. Well, yeah, he did. It was the upstairs
neighbors.
And it was heard in the 911. That's why I think they won't release the 911. That's my opinion. I have talked to both attorneys on Galen's civil suit. One of the attorneys told me that she almost had to sign her kids away to hear that. And when she heard it, it was like, okay, what's on it? She didn't understand what was so damning. Why they took it to the Supreme Court, didn't they?
Yeah.
The Indiana Supreme Court. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Okay, so Anthony, I have a question.
Sure.
And Kathy, you'll probably know this too, but so initially it's considered an accident, and then this investigator comes in and says, no, it's arson. Did they ever figure out what started the fire? What kind of accelerant started the fire?
If they have, they've never said that publicly. They did say accelerants. They said accelerants were found in multiple locations at first, right? And then it changed back and said that there was only accelerants found in one location in the back of the house.
Yep.
So it changed 3 different times. So it makes you question what's going on. But I mean, there were accelerants found in the back of the house, and you can tell that from the video footage. So yeah, that's where it stood right then. Then the fire department from the peer review in Indianapolis, I think they basically determined the same concept as the private investigator from Michigan, Greason.
Okay.
Yes. Yes, the peer review did.
Yes.
Greason.
Okay,
there's so many mixed conflict of
There are mixed reports, and that confuses a lot of people.
Right.
Go ahead and ask your question, Marv.
So Galen gets out of the house. She's still by the front door. She's screaming for help, probably all over the front yard. I can imagine I would be running everywhere in the street, trying to wake up everybody, screaming and hollering.
Well,
she's trying to get the kids. She's getting smoke in her lungs as she's screaming. We see on the video footage that the officer Yoder gets there. He tries to go in. He needs help. He's got to come out. Does it ever tell us who? Because at some point they do bring the 4 girls out. They get them out, and they're trying to revive them.
Yes.
Who makes? Do we ever know who makes the decision to move them from that yard to the firehouse?
I'm sure it's the police or the medics. I mean, I'm sure they're the ones with the say. The coroner.
So the neighbor, well, the coroner was not on the scene yet, which was the Cree boy, I believe, not the dad. I think it was the boy, the son. But nobody had got there on the scene yet. But the neighbor behind the very house behind on the street, she was a paramedic. So Drew Yoder was the first one brought out. So Drew Yoder they were working on him first. Then they brought out Dysinger. So then whoever was the paramedics on the scene, whoever was there at the time, started working on them. So we're limited here. And then and then each girl was brought out. And then we didn't have that many firefighters on the scene. So we still had to have firefighters. I would like to know who worked on the girls, because they were working on Drew Yoder and Josh Dysinger. Who was there? How many people?
Yeah.
Guys, it's a volunteer fire department. How many people did you see? You have two are hurt.
You know what? We have that dash cam video. I bet there's more of that dash cam video.
I bet you there is.
There's more on that dash cam video afterwards.
Camden get there? When did Camden get there? When did Delphi get there?
So did they move the girls to the firehouse so that the firefighters?
I just want to know who worked on each one of the girls. You know, you had 3 girls come out. What was that, Marv?
I said, did they move the girls to the fire station because the firefighters were coming in to fight the fire? Is that the reason they moved the girls there? Or do we not know for sure why they were moved to the firehouse?
No one really said, except for that it being a main road and that they didn't want people to see the girls. I guess I don't know.
Okay, that would make sense.
The only thing I know.
They didn't want people driving by and seeing 4 little girls in the front lawn.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And a lot of people say that they could have put up like those things, but those people didn't even have a ladder on the truck to get to the window. So why would they have anything to cover up a scene?
Right.
Exactly. They didn't
even have a ladder.
We don't know who pronounced them either.
Well, the coroner has to.
Well, the coroner, but
I was told in the state of Indiana that a paramedic can. Anthony, you got to look that up, because that's what when the house was coming down, the paramedic was standing on the porch, and I went and questioned her, because she's the one that told me that she was working on Drew Yoder. I questioned her, asked her the day that they were tearing the house down, and she's the one that told me all the information I just told you. That when the girls were brought out, they were worked on one by one, and they were gone pretty much. I mean, by the time they found the one under the bed, because that's why they brought the first 3 out very fast.
Here's my question. How come I mean, it's a question that, and probably a lot of people wonder is, do they really think that they slept through that? Or,
No.
And then just couldn't get out of the room? Or, they tried to get out. Was there ever talk that there was signs that they tried?
They probably panicked, and Anthony, because it was so smoky up there. They couldn't see, they couldn't breathe. They were down low trying to get air.
So think about when you hear Drew Yoder scream.
Yeah. And coughing.
He was opening a door where a window had been already busted out by the neighbor next door, Adam Ayers. So that's why you hear the screaming. So as soon as it vented up that stairs, as soon as he opened that door, and those girls were still alive. They weren't dead. Those girls were still alive. They had post-mortem burns. They died of smoke inhalation. They were burning before they died.
I'm sure
of it.
Once he opened that door, that was major.
And I believe that the oldest and the second to the oldest were the 2 that had the most, knew what was going on. The one was still asleep, I believe, in bed, and the other one got scared and went under the bed. So.
Okay. That's very sad, man, when they found them all. They just find them like that. And it was a while before they actually got to him.
One was outside of the room on the landing near the stairs. Yeah.
And he was trying to get to her, so he was getting to that landing and couldn't get around it.
One thing Galen tell you is where they found each one of them, because they told her.
Yeah.
So the oldest one probably was trying to figure out a way to get out, but was so overcome.
Yeah, because Galen, they were awake. Galen went around the corner screaming their names, screaming for them,
Man.
Yeah.
It wasn't, they weren't found just sleeping in their beds and were smoke inhalated.
They were awake.
They were awake. They knew what happened, Marv. They knew. That's why I was like, and it's all the time that, sometimes I read when people say, well, I would have died in there with him. Drew Yoder couldn't even get in there when he tried the first time. It was within minutes. I mean, like, what are we talking here? Galen wakes up, the fire is started, and she comes out the front door, which probably started helping to draw the fire. Okay, she's next door. Okay, then Adam Ayers is trying to get in. He can't even get in. He goes back home and gets a towel. It's in the civil documents. Adam Ayers goes back to get a towel to put over his head to try to get in there. And then, next thing you see Yoder pull in and Galen screaming, and Yoder tries to go in. So I don't know who thinks that Galen was going to go back in there and save her girls. I mean, it was so hot and the smoke was just so black and rolling that she couldn't. There's no way, and you're
and you know what? Something else that I've seen. Something else I've seen, on Reddit and different sites and stuff like that is people saying, "Oh, I can't believe that mom. She just stood there and watched." They have no idea what they're even talking about. They weren't there. People that say that just hear other people say things, and then they kind of go off of those things as if it's true and accurate. Based on I'm glad they released that dash cam video, because I certainly see a woman. I mean, even though you don't see her at all times, I certainly hear and
you hear
my mind can see what's happening. She's like, "Hey man, go around the corner, please help. Oh my God, my babies. Oh my God."
Exactly.
Like, okay, this is not a lady that's just standing there going, "Well, his house is on fire." This is a lady that's like desperate. Okay. It's like, have you guys ever seen an animal, freak out when it's got a nest somewhere and there's a fire or anything's going on? They're like freaking out, dude. I mean, animals will even come to people and say, "Dude, help me." You know what I mean? Like, same situation. It's an instinctual thing. Your babies are there. You're going to help, even if they're not your babies, just your friends or anybody, or even if you just drive by a house and it's burning, your instinct is going to be, man, someone probably needs some help here. I need to help them.
My niece was in a house fire in Indianapolis in a house that was a double, and the other side of the house was empty, and she was babysitting. The little girl that was 4 was upstairs, and her and the baby were downstairs, and the fire was started next door. And by the time she realized that the smoke was woken up, she could not get upstairs to save the baby. She was 13 years old. So look, I know how those things happen. Okay. The smoke, she saved one child. She was not able. And it was the same thing with Galen. She tried. She was screaming and screaming, and my niece said the same thing. It just, your instinct takes over and you get out,
Right.
You don't stay in there. Your body, when you can't breathe, you get away from what you can't breathe.
Right.
It's so yeah, it used to kill me when I used to read all those about what Galen should and should not have done.
You have no right to say what somebody should or shouldn't have done unless you've been in that situation. And every situation is different.
Yes.
So even if you're in that situation, you still can't say this person should have done it this way and that way, because that's how I did it, because every fire is different. Every layout of the house is different. Every situation is different.
Every person's different. Some people are not as some people are outgoing and can talk to everyone in the world. Some people cannot do that at all. Some people can sit in front of a camera. Some people can't do that at all. Some people can react well in high stress situations. Some cannot. Okay. And it all depends on the situation and what is going on at the moment, what you see, what you hear. There's things that is happening. Like, we all watch football or baseball games, and it's like, oh man, he should have threw it to this side or threw it to that side. He doesn't see what you're seeing because he doesn't have an overview of the whole area. He's not watching from a third person's perspective. You know what I mean? Just same way with, if you watch someone play a video game, you're like, oh, you should do this and do this and do this. But that person is seeing things from their perspective and their perspective only. what they're seeing and hearing and physically experiencing affects that person in a different way. It's affecting you, and you watching it from a third party's point of view, as if watching it on YouTube, or we weren't there, or even just being there and watching it, you have a different perspective. You've seen things that they didn't see, vice versa. And so it is hard to say how a person should have reacted or what a person should have done, because none of us were in that situation, and we're not going to be in that. Well, I hope none of us are in that situation. But we can't attest to how she was feeling or what she was doing. But I can say I seen a mom that really was desperate for help, and everyone there, they seemed all desperate to.
You guys, you heard it.
Get them.
Yeah, you heard it in her voice, and you know, even when we sat and watched that, and I'm like, it's like I sat one place, Steve Brown sat one place, and Galen was at home, you know, and you know, I'm like constantly, Galen, are you okay? And we'd have to stop it for a minute, you know, just to realize what just happened, you know, because those are things that she didn't remember, you know, of when the police came or who was there, or when she came outside, you know, screaming who was where or who was what or what was going on. It was chaos, you know.
Yeah. This is the town of Flora that you guys are looking at right there. The house is across the street from this location. It's kind of down and to the right from here, across the street diagonal. And that right there, what everybody is gathering around, is the memorial walk. Kathy's in the purple shirt that you see there. Aunt Jackie is there. You guys will see her. Jinx is there. Rick Snade's there. The family of Abigail Williams, the grandparents of Abigail Williams, are even there to support this. Kathy, tell me about that day. Tell me about that day right there.
Mark Tate was there that day too.
Mark Tate was there.
I can't wait to go help support, you know, and I have to, and you know, everybody, I never want anybody to think, and I've never wanted anybody to think that, you know, people say Flora doesn't get the and then it doesn't, but I would never say that Delphi gets more because, you know, that these girls are hated or anything, because, you know, from day one, Becky, Patty, and Anna Williams and the family have always been very gracious to Galen, to Jackie. They're wonderful people. I mean, they would I've met them at the home putting things on it, you know, flowers and different things. So yeah, I always hate when I hear that, because I always hate to compare anything, because I always think that they're the huge tragedy, you know, extremely.
Right.
You have to understand a lot of it does come, Anthony, from media. You know, media covers what, you know, is out there and is what's bigger.
Yeah.
What happened after these girls died, and then just what preceded it, you know, I want them to get the same kind of, but the narrative that was put out there made people believe that Galen did it, and that's why she didn't get the same thing. So if, I mean, like, nobody truly believed that Becky, Patty, and Anna Williams or Carrie Timmons, or, I mean, nobody with rational minds, let's just say that, believe that they killed those children out there. You know, I mean, anybody. So that they didn't have that hanging over it. They did, but it wasn't, it was YouTube, it was Facebook people and things like that. It wasn't this community. Okay.
Right.
But that community was led to believe that Galen did it, and now Galen is suing their town. So why would you back some, you know what I'm saying? So it was the actual narrative that was put out about Galen, and so she ran.
Right.
What was she going to do? Move back into the home with where her dad is there in Flora, and go past the home every day where she lost her 4 children? That wasn't going to happen. She moved in with
she
her
would have never
grandmother,
recovered from that.
Oh God, I couldn't have done.
You know what?
No,
when I talked to Jackie years ago, her statement was, standing right where we're at, right there, right across the street, right just up north, just past everybody, kind of to the top right of the diagonal of the screen, right there where we were standing. And she said, she was being interviewed by other media stations when I was standing there, and she said, it's hard to live here. It's hard to drive past here or come back here. It's hard to come back here and see that thing right there with those girls' names on it and behind her in the shot. And she says, and it's hard to sit back there and look at that house. They died there, you know?
Right.
And she's like, and that's something I have to think about. And no one seems to care, you know? No one seems to care.
And she wasn't wrong. I mean, it was like they were in shock when they came out and said it was an arson. I mean, how would you feel when somebody said, "Hey, that was an arson"? Oh my God, you mean somebody intentionally killed my children? You mean somebody intentionally come in and set my house on fire? I mean, right now they all thought it was an accident. They thought it was like electrical or something like that. You know,
something in the house that caught the fire. Yep.
Yeah,
they thought it was an accident.
Yeah, right. And to come out and just put it out on the news, no one went to the family. No one did anything. They sent out a news release. I called Jackie and said, "Oh my God, Jackie, WLFI just came out and said that the fire was arson."
Yeah.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, Jackie's calling Galen's grandma. They're trying to find Galen before she hears it on the news. It was like, what are we doing here? What are we re-victimizing her? You know, they never offered her anything except for, will you come in and talk to us, and we won't charge you for the drug things that we think you were doing. We'll give you immunity. Yeah, that's what they said.
Wow. And you know what? They even say they have persons of interest. Well, how come there's no, I mean, who?
Well, I believe their person of interest was always Galen Rose, and that's why they always said that. I mean, look, she was not from Indiana. I believe she was more born and raised in Missouri, and that her mom is in California. Okay, so she had nobody. And when she stayed with her grandmother, I mean, she wanted her mom. I would want my mom too if that happened. And she wanted to be with her mom, and she moved to California, and she worked 2 jobs. She just worked and worked and worked and worked. That's all she did. 2 jobs, 2 or 3 jobs. She'd be on the phone. I'd be on the phone with her sometimes. She'd be at the gas station. She was a people person. Galen was a people. You try being in California at the gas station in one of the bad neighborhoods. Okay, they'd be up there yelling at her at the window. Galen be so sweet and nice and polite to him. But you know, she went there so that she could just work all the time, and she wouldn't have to think about it. You know, it wouldn't have to be in her face, and she wouldn't have to see all the bad things said about her. You know, I don't know how some of these people, Becky and Anna and Carrie, and them make it through what people say about them.
Oh.
It's hard. It's hard. You know what? People say the same things about me, and I've said things to Becky about it, and she's like, "Yeah, dude, it's like, welcome to the club when people start pointing the fingers. And if you even dare to cover one of these cases and talk about them on social media or YouTube or Facebook or wherever, you are bound to be tipped in just because you talked about it. Or if you even say, oh, I'm from the area, or I've been in there, oh, tip that person in, they did it, or they're connected somehow, or just because you happen to know the individuals around the area, you got to be somehow connected, or you got to know. It's not like
that. I'm sorry. I had a Facebook fight today over what did they say? Yeah, we're watching Delphi. What are you watching, guys? What are you watching? What are we doing? I mean, is it the same old shit? If you're watching the same old shit, then good for you. Well, I'm glad you're watching Delphi. Well, I mean, I get tired of hearing people lump us all into one big thing here. You know, we are a community of wonderful people. I mean, look, there's corruption everywhere, guys. Go to Chicago. Go spend some time in Chicago.
Oh, yeah.
With Gary.
Go. Hey, let's all move up to lawless Seattle. Okay? There's no corruption there. That's got to be the most wonderful place in America, you know? So how the only reason they see this or they know this is because
that's where I live.
Case. Yeah, I know. I heard. You don't live around that lawless Seattle area,
no.
do you? Okay,
no.
Good.
Well, no.
But no, what I'm saying is corruption is everywhere.
It is.
Okay. Things happen everywhere. And just because we're watching you, Delphi. Well, what are you watching? What did we do?
All eyes on Delphi. Yeah, Delphi. And you know
all
what?
All eyes. Well, what are we doing? Keep watching us. Because,
keep watching
there's
us.
a lot of
Delphi
is. You know as well as I do, there's a lot of wonderful people here. And there's a lot of shitheads here. We're a community of people. Mark,
people.
People. We're human. We're all human beings.
Yeah.
Every last one of us. There's not one of us perfect. And I guess if we were, we would be living in the cities where they're at. What is that?
25% of the time, I am 100% perfect.
Yeah.
25% of the time.
25% of the time.
That's funny.
I'm 100%. Yep. Yeah, Mark, change your channel name, everybody. It's Beyond the Evidence. So, Kathy, let me ask you this. So, do you find it coincidental that there was like the 3 public officials resigned, Ives, Randall, and Adam, all within there?
We thought it was, because, we did have the one reporter, Asha Hasni, in the beginning that she just kept pressing. There was one time she's over there standing in Denny Randall's front yard, and he's mowing his grass. She's out there with her microphone. He's just driving past her. She was determined to get a statement from him, and he finally stopped and gave her one. And she did the same thing to the governor at the state of Indiana, Holcomb, when he was at some sort of gardening club thing or something. She was great. She went after him and she wanted answers, but she got a really good job and she moved away, and no other reporter kind of took over for what she was doing. And but yeah, she was pressing for those answers. And yeah, Anthony, I think it's really funny that all those people resigned like they did. Yes, I do.
Amidst all that, refused to talk. I'm going to put it out there, everybody. Adam Randall has undergone some serious behavioral changes since this time. There's things out there that people don't necessarily know about, but I'm willing to say it because I know about it. Adam Randall quit because he said the allegations against his father and all this stuff was causing too much. He was the fire chief. He quit his job. He got taken to court for child support. I saw him in the courtroom in front of Judge Diener, who, let me give you some history on that. Judge Diener, his wife, or I guess maybe they're getting through a divorce. I don't know if they are or not. Abigail Diener is his wife. He's the circuit court judge that recused off the Delphi case in the beginning. Her father, James Huffer, was the former prosecutor in Carroll County. Dennis Randall's wife was caught stealing over $500,000 from her. Okay. And now the son, Adam, there's the brother John on the screen right there. So John's nephew, Adam, has to go in front of Diener for child support. So you can imagine he's stressed out about that. He gets hit with a big debt in child support that I'm seeing it happen in court. There's not long after that, just south of Lafayette in Lebanon, there is a standoff with police of a man who's going through some mental health issues and has a gun and is threatening harm on himself and just won't come out. There are photographs posted on my community page, but I didn't list out who the individual is, but there's an article and photographs posted, and I will post those again after the stream tonight. The standoff ended with the individual laying down the weapon, coming out and surrendering to police. The police officer gave him a hug, talked him through it and took him to get mental health evaluations. And that individual is Adam Randall. This is all post fire, a complete behavior change, quit his job as the fire department. He's struggling, living in and out of places, on the street sometimes, going from a well-decorated individual who has a career built for him, got a family that runs the community, is now acting in this manner. This to me screams that there's something weighing on this guy's mind. Dennis Randall, we've seen, I mean, there's something on his mind that is bothering him. And it's all since this happened.
Okay, so yeah, I agree with. Okay, so I guess, you know, some people handle things differently, but Drew Yoder has you know, he didn't do those same things that you're talking about. You know, I mean, correct. And he was in there. I mean, he knew the girls in Galen where Dysinger did not. I mean, like. Drew Yoder had a personal relationship with them. I mean, he pulled her over, and then he would go in the gas station, and Dysinger also would put out in Facebook groups really shitty messages to let's see, tell the mother to talk. She knows what went on.
Yeah, and that's not his place. And you know what? I've seen a lot of that with Carroll County, with Flora Police, Delphi Police, and Carroll County deputies taking their personal matters to Facebook to voice their personal concerns. But the issue with that is when you're a public official, when you're someone that's out there and like a servant of the community, and you're posting on Facebook all this stuff that's like contrary to ethical laws, you know, ethical laws when it comes to you being a police officer and supposed to be unbiased towards people, you know, when you're out there and you're kind of like just assuming guilt as an officer that's not the detective, that takes away the credibility from members of the community, I think. You know, I don't find that credible because I don't want to see the cops on Facebook fighting and talking crap to other people and community members.
No.
You know?
No.
I mean, that's bad. And then, you know, what you guys are seeing on the screen, if you want to know like what the drug thing is going there, I'm talking about that right there is discussing Brandon Woodhouse and John Randall's involvement with attempting to cover up or plant evidence on him in the jail. So, I mean, you've got a history with the Randalls. To me, I don't know if anybody else agrees, but I think a lot of this lies within some of the answers revolving within the Randalls being more truthful.
I agree.
Yeah, Anthony, 100%. You know, look, like everybody's talking about the other police officers past Denny Randall. I myself have never saw or known of anything that Tobe Lesenby or Tony Liggett has done corrupt or criminal. Okay. They worked for, I mean, Lesenby
worked for Denny. They worked for Denny for 30 years. Yeah. Well, Lesenby did, not Liggett.
Not Liggett. Lesenby did. So, but is any of those criminal acts that we talk about that Randall did Lesenby do any of those? So I don't know.
He may or may not have known about it. We'll never know.
See, there we go. So yeah, I don't know, because I've never had anything in this community ever come out scandalous wise about him, his family. Now Pearson, you know, his son
Steve
grew up.
Pearson.
Yeah, Steve Pearson. I never heard anything about him either, except for his son grew up, and the son went a little wild. But how? I mean, who does?
Everyone's does. I mean, Nooncasters. We've seen the Nooncasters. Their son.
Yeah, they did. But to tell, I mean, the God honest truth, what he's saying about Denny Randall, that's the truth. You know, the whole, his wife, his daughter, his son, the whole thing, the food in the jail. You know, when you were arrested and you go in there and they give you a cup of coffee, a half a cup of coffee, a black coffee, and a piece of bread that wasn't even toasted,
that's
no
it.
butter. Yeah, because the commissary money, you got a allowance for the month or whatever, and he would spend so much and he got to keep the rest to buy his washers and dryers.
And just pocket money. And that's, I mean, you know what? And this is okay. So, you know, Michael Randall, right? Michael is a relative convicted in Carroll County, ladies and gentlemen, of arson for burning. Okay, of arson. Michael Randall, another relative of theirs. Could that be
Oh my
a
God.
lie? Could be. Exactly, dude. And even more bizarre is McClelland, the prosecutor, the new prosecutor's father is an arsonist. Okay, as well.
Anthony,
it's
that
so
one there.
crazy.
That one there was a one-time event, and I knew who was in jail with him when it happened. And it was not like I go around and arson things. It was like he got mad and set something on fire. That's what I've been told. Okay, it was like one of those as a
didn't intend to kill anybody.
Not a I'm an arsonist thing. But hey, that's just what I've been told, and I know I hear that his dad was like more of a alcoholic, right?
Yes, drinking. Bad drinking.
Well, I heard he is too. So
I mean, they live out Carrollton.
That incident was more of a one of those when you're drunk and you do something stupid. That's what I've heard, because there was no incidents after. And look, the face on Leslie, I could say I agree with Anthony. Oh yeah, maybe he is. I have just never, ever, ever, the whole time I've lived here, ever heard anybody say anything that he was. I mean, I hear he's just not the greatest guy in the whole wide world to talk to or anything, but I've never heard.
But then when it comes to the Randalls, you hear all kinds of stuff.
Oh my God. And Liggett.
That's because it's in Liggett too,
Yeah, Tony, I've never heard anything about him either. Me and my husband went on a motorcycle ride that they were on, him and his wife. And I'm not going to lie, his wife was the nurse to my mother-in-law before she passed away at the hospital up there. And that woman was wonderful to my mother-in-law. So
in Lafayette.
Yeah, she worked at a hospital up there. And, his wife was Liggett's wife. So, I mean, like, I don't know why these people want me to say that all these guys are crooked and they hate him and stuff. And I did say it at one time, but when I said and think about it, no, we're no different than nobody else. The things that happened over in over in Flora, he was the sheriff and the son, or he was the arson investigator, or the investigator and his son. And do I believe that the other fire chief, which is Todd Trent, that I think maybe he did try to investigate it, but they took it away from him in 2 weeks. I mean, what do you do in 2 weeks? What do you investigate?
What are you trying to cover up? Yeah, why did you take it away from him?
Yeah, that's why I think there's cover up involved. And you know what? Here's another thing that I think. Okay, so we know that Josh, or I think Josh Ayers, was the town council president, right? And so he would have been, and since Adam Randall was the fire chief, technically Ayers would have been Randall's boss. Okay.
Yes.
In hindsight. Yes. Okay. Now he owns the house next door. Okay, to the firehouse.
Yes.
All right.
Yes. Yes.
The Randalls seem to be very money motivated and politically motivated for status in the community, right? Mm-hmm. And also the findings determined that the arson was set in the back of the house, one accelerant that they know of, one area for accelerants, which I'm assuming someone intentionally put gas or something there to try to start the fire. I don't know, that's just a guess, but it was started in the back of the house. So someone went to the back of the house, probably in between the garage and the house there, where they could hide and crime. So they knew the area, they'd seen the area before, they'd been to the area, they know where the area is, where they can hide in the shadows. And they also said that they thought that this fire was an arson, but nobody intentionally meant to kill anybody, which says to me, this is an insurance fraud scheme.
That's what I was just going to say.
This is money motivated, and it's not necessarily on her part. It could be on Ayers' part in association with the Randalls. Let this burn down. We'll cover it up for you, dude. We got the money. There you go. We'll be able to get the people out of the house.
This isn't like the first house of theirs that is burned down either.
Correct.
Oh, did I just see? Is Randy in our chat? Randy Gravitz. Hi, Randy.
He was,
yeah. Did he leave us? Oh, I forgot to say hi. I thought I saw him a minute ago. But yeah, Anthony, actually, it had that fence around the back. And
Mm-hmm.
I think you had to go, the gate to that fence was on the driveway side to that other house. Because the little girls would have to go out, I think, the back door with the trash and take it through that and go around the front of the house to set it outside.
Yeah.
Like they had that back door, like that fence was next to the garage and it went all the way around.
Right.
The gate to that fence was over there to that, towards that other house, you know, where Elizabeth Ayers and those guys. So I think when the little girls had to take the trash outside, they had to go out that back door, and then they would take it out that gate and around the front of the house.
Right.
Yeah. So see, somebody had to know how to get in there, and somebody had to be familiar with it.
Someone who's familiar. Whoever committed that crime is familiar with the area.
People keep saying, well, okay. And if I
and
have
the house
hear about Patrick Westfall that lived down the street, and the Odinism and the racism, and I somebody's even, and I'm not even gonna say who it was, that Kaylin's daughter fought with his daughter. There is no evidence that ever happened. There, I mean, Galen said her daughter got into it on the bus with some kid one time, one little girl. We don't know who that was. Galen didn't know who that was, and it was just words. Okay, so look, how would Patrick Westfall or Brad Holder, because you know I read it and all that memorandum for Richard Allen, how would they know to go over that fence and go through the back door and set the porch on fire?
Right. That's what I said. It's somebody that knew the house.
It's going to be someone that's been inside of that house.
Yes.
Anthony,
this man right here.
Who this guy is. Yeah, I've never been able to find it. You watch him in the video, it looks like he's handing somebody something, a firefighter at one point. I don't know who he is.
Well, he clearly walked there. He didn't just.
Yeah, because he's got the hat on.
Yeah, he's got the hat on. He walked over there, so he's got to live nearby. And he came from this direction. Well, I mean, he could have came down the street there on Columbia Street, or is that Division Street, right? Is Division the one that we're looking at right there? Or is Columbia?
Columbia is in the front of the house, and Division's the side of the house.
Columbia is the main road. Division's okay. So Division Street here. Okay.
Yes.
So he could have came from down Division Street towards Jennifer Barnes's house. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, in that Patrick Westfall did live down the end of this road there, that Division Street down there towards Jennifer Barnes and them live. But I don't think he lived there very long. And I do know that the photos, and I'm not gonna lie, I mean, Brad Holder and Patrick Westfall and them were on November 20th in that yard down the street doing something. Okay. But you have to realize Galen was not even home on November 20th.
Right.
So if they were going to do something, why didn't they do it that night?
Right.
You know? Oh, well, yes, she was home on the 20th. No, was that the 20th night? So that would have been Sunday night. Because the 21st was the fire, and that was in the morning. So I don't know. I mean, people.
This case is either an insurance fraud scheme, someone trying to collect money somehow, a revenge or malicious intent to her because someone was upset with her over some personal dispute, or a random act of violence. I just can't get past it. It's almost like the Delphi case when you got like this Richard Allen guy, but you had the Keegan Klein guy catfish the girls, right? And you can't find that connection. There's got to be a connection between the law enforcement lying and this incident.
Well, we also have Colton Creasy, which was Galen's boyfriend. Look at there's Erskine. There's David Erskine.
Yep, there's David Erskine.
Right there. Yeah, that's him right there. Yeah. Is that Erskine though?
And there's that dude.
Yeah, running.
That dude must work for the fire department. Yeah, that was Erskine. That was David Erskine.
I thought it was a bigger guy. Are you sure? I thought he was.
I'm positive. No, this is Erskine. Hold on, let me pull it up. Watch the back of his shirt on his butt.
That's his
coat. D. Erskine.
Yeah.
D. Erskine. Yeah,
hey,
I know
that
you guys
was his coat, but you do realize that D. Erskine lived only a few doors down, and he was single at the time with a roommate. Wonder who his roommate was, because Adam Randall was going through a divorce.
Yeah.
Just saying. Just saying. Who was at the firehouse that Drew Yoder was yelling at? Was that Erskine?
Wait,
who was
isn't this Adam right here? Hold on, isn't this Adam that walks by the screen right here from left to right? Isn't this Adam? Yeah. Oh no, hold on. We're gonna see a guy walk by the screen here from left to right here in just a second, and then come back across. So whenever he walks across the screen, you guys will see him. I'll pause it. He walks back across the screen twice. Then. No. Okay, hold on. He'll walk back.
No, I think that's Helderman or Ayers. The first guy that just walked across this guy. Helderman or Ayers. See?
This guy.
I don't know. Is that?
I don't know who that is. And then there's Erskine.
That's definitely.
Yep, you can see Erskine right there. That's Erskine right there. So we don't know who that first guy was. It could be that one guy. What was that one guy's name? That was like the EMS responder guy. I can't remember what his name was. Everyone always talks about him. He was taking a picture at the house, or a picture was taken of him at the house. He was wearing that blue shirt like that and a hat. Man, what's his name? Everyone always mentioned him. He was at the Flora thing, and he was at the. Damn, I can't remember that guy's name. Someone will say it in the chat, I'm sure. I can't remember what his name was.
Well, I know that. Okay, so I believe the kid that was in the basketball shorts was the neighbor upstairs, because think about that. They were in bed. So he wouldn't have been fully dressed. Right. He would have been the person that, like Galen in her nightgown, that come up and with his girlfriend. So she might have had her pajamas on her too. But then when you see the other people that are in the screen, they're fully dressed. They have coats and hats, and so they've prepared themselves to come out, on November 21st to go to the fire or whatever it is. So, and like I was telling you guys, Colton Creasy was Galen's boyfriend, friend per se, whatever, prior to the fires. Now, they weren't boyfriend, girlfriend before the fires happened. They kind of went their own ways. Galen never thought there was any problems or anything with it. I do know in some of the police reports that they spoke with Colton and Colton's mom, things like that. I do know Coach Kev really thinks Colton is a good suspect, because when they questioned him that morning, Anthony, I guess he drove by the fire and texted Galen, "Are you okay?" or something. So, yeah, and that's in these Flora City police reports. So yeah, so it just like Delphi, I bet there's 100 suspects now, because just it's, I mean, I would just love to point my finger. I want it to be the Ayers family and all that. Then now we have the memorandum. Now that we have the memorandum that came out, and now we have Patrick Westfall and Brad Holder and that whole Odin stuff down the street. And I'm not gonna lie, there's a picture of them there on November 20th, and they're all standing in the backyard at a fire doing weird stuff. I don't know. Are they? I don't know. Racist, that, and then the same thing about Colton, and then so there's a lot of people that there's, see right there, Anthony, did you see that? Go back to that other picture, that fence I was telling you about. That's right here. That first picture you just showed before you went to this one, that was right there. That's the neighbor's driveway, isn't it?
Oh.
Yeah.
What is this?
That's the neighbor's driveway to the right. This is the other side of the house.
This is the drive. Okay, wait a minute. So
what I was telling you about, the girls had to come out this fence right here, that gate right
hang
there.
On. Hold on. Let me try to get a better shot of this.
Okay.
I'm just looking around for
another picture.
Yeah, another picture here. Okay. All right. So this is the back of the house. So this is where you pull in. So basically what we're looking at here, ladies and gentlemen, is let me go back and
this is where they
where they had to go in at. They either went in through this way, Anthony, through this way, and Mark, or they had to go in through that garage door that was never locked.
Okay.
Okay. So let me pull up the house here. Yeah, I'm gonna pull up the house so you guys can see what it looks like right there. There it was. I just missed it.
That baby.
Yeah.
They were so little, and you know what? It's so sad that this happened. In such a, I mean, in the middle of the night, you know, someone clearly tried to conceal whatever they were doing there.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, right there. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So what you're looking at on the screen at the top, right there in that little pile of rubble, if you're looking at, I'm trying to get a better shot of it if I can. There we go, right there. All right, so see the driveway in the back of the house at the top of the screen next to that other house. Where this camera is fixated is basically standing on the sidewalk, looking to the left right there. That's the back of the house. That's what we're looking at there. Okay.
In the picture.
Gotcha.
In the picture. Okay. So there's your it's behind where the house was right there. All right. And now, so we're going to switch back over to here. That way you guys get a better understanding of what we're looking at.
Okay.
Okay. This is, and I'm going to go back to the beginning here.
And see where that big board is there, Anthony? That's where the other door was coming out.
Let me start.
Oh, that's where the other door was?
Look, and then he just,
right.
Oh, look there, up the steps.
Okay.
Oh my God. And then the smoke detector.
Here we go. I'm going to start it here and we're going to go through. So the smoke detectors, this is the back of the house. Okay.
Yeah,
so someone had to walk through the okay.
This is the side of the house. This would be, if you were in the or facing the house, this would be the left-hand side of the house.
The left-hand side.
Left-hand side. And this is in between Elizabeth Ayers and this house. And
this is where the fire, no, this is not where the fire started. Is this where the fire started?
No.
It started on the other side.
Yeah, it started in the back. See where that fence is back there? That's the neighbor's house back there.
Okay. So the fire started. The fire started back there in the driveway, right?
No, not this driveway. See where that window's boarded up? That probably is the back room. This is the living room. That's the coffee table I gave Gillian too.
Okay.
Oh, so this is by the front porch.
Yeah, this is the living room here. There's the kitchen.
Wow.
Okay. There's a plug in, something plugged into the wall. The fire didn't start there because you could tell it would be more burnt if it was.
Yep.
There's look at the smoke. It's just how black it is from the smoke.
That's Galen's bedroom. That was right off the front room.
Downstairs to the right, or to the left?
Yeah. So looking at the house, yes, it would be the left window. That was her bedroom.
Wow.
Okay.
Downstairs. And then the left window upstairs was the girls' bedroom. And then that's the archway that went into the dining room.
Okay. There's the fireplace.
Yep.
Okay, so that's Galen's bedroom from a different point of view, correct?
Yes. Yes, correct. That's her bedroom.
Okay. What is we on the wall here? This is a light switch. Okay.
Looks like it.
Yes.
Yep.
That's what it looks like.
Okay, here's the kitchen. All right. There's the other side of the kitchen, just to the left of that a little bit.
So right here. So see where that microwave is, Anthony?
Yes.
They're saying that they found this smoke detector right behind that, guys. So it would have been up straight on the wall, straight up there by the window, like just straight up. And supposedly it was found how many years later? Come on. It was hid. It was hid behind the microwave. Now look at that room, guys. Look at the smoke damage in there and their stuff. You know.
That's pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
And then we have this right here.
Yeah.
The front door, so that's leading out to the porch. Okay, so we can see there's the couches and stuff, everything. There's that dining room area to the right. This is to the right if you're looking at the house.
Yes. And see those windows, the last picture, those windows had breaks in them. Like some of the outside windows were broke, like the screen windows, things like that. Those right there. So, and then she had a kitchen table that was right there by those windows and chairs around it.
Ah.
Okay, and then there's the stairway. They
And
went
the
up the
stove
stairs.
right there, when you're looking at that stove, right to the right is that door. Right there. Right there at the stove.
Okay,
The
so
stove,
right to the right.
right of the stove is the door where the fire started at, right through there. That's why
Yeah,
the
you can
damage
tell.
is so bad in the
Yep.
kitchen.
You can tell that the fire started in the kitchen type area. You know what I mean? The kitchen and dining room area is where the fire definitely started. I mean, look how
Oh yeah.
some of it's not even burnt in some places, but I mean, look at the house here. There's nothing, you can't even tell it was burnt on the back side of the house right there, right? Just the house itself. But when you look at it from this side, I mean,
Now
look, that's
this is the
leading into,
back. This is the back of
okay.
the house. That picture you just looked at. That was the backyard.
Yeah.
A lot of
And
fire damage
not
there.
exactly sure what that picture is.
To me, that looks like,
Among the things Vergon looked for were smoke detectors. Well, yeah, he did.
okay, this here looks like something was spilt on the floor.
Okay,
and they may
this
have
is
used
the
aluminum.
porch. Anthony, this is the porch. That's the picture. That's it. That's
The back
spot.
porch.
Yeah, that's
This
it.
is where
Right there.
the accelerants were found.
Yeah, that's the one.
That looks to me like someone poured a chemical there on the floor and
Heck
lit it
yeah.
on fire. It looks,
Yeah.
I mean,
Don't it?
obvious.
Mhm.
It does. It looks to me like this may be I don't know if police are able to use like a luminol or something like that to make like gasoline or
stand
different
out.
things appear. I'm sure it's a possibility, right?
Yeah, there's
Nobody
gotta
ever
be a
said what it
possibility.
was. Nobody ever
Good
said.
God.
That's it right there. That's it right there. That's part of the porch right there.
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
someone did this
God.
someone did this either on the inside or on the outside. Someone was able to get access to this specific area. Look at that.
Wow.
Yeah, look at that. This whole room, you can definitely tell the
And
fire
then
started
there's
in
the
the kitchen
stove.
area.
There's the stove that was dead next to that area. That
Yeah.
stove was right there next to it.
Oh my goodness.
Dang, man.
And then look up there. Look up there. That's where the smoke detector was. Up the stairs. Up the stairs. That's where it was hanging. Tell me those girls had a ladder and they took the thing up there. See it up there?
No.
Yeah.
They didn't
See it up
see
there?
how they
That
had to go
didn't
up the
happen.
stairs.
Nobody
Yep.
stole the batteries out of it.
And that's to the girls' room right there.
Right.
Oh wow.
Wow. Shoes. Smoke. There's a smoke detector laying right there on the floor.
Yep.
The top of it pointed to it. Wow.
Yeah,
Look at that. That
off
is
the
so
top
bad.
up there. And look how charred that is up there, because as soon as that window was broke and Yoder ran around that corner there and opened that door,
it was almost like a backflash.
Fire. It was a vacuum. It sucked that fire straight up there, up there.
Yeah.
And that's why you hear Yoder screaming like he was.
Yep.
And then he came back. Can you imagine? I believe he came back down them steps. He fell. And then that's probably where Dysinger found him. And that's where he drug him out from, is what I believe. I believe he drug him from the dining room out.
Oh my God, I haven't seen those pictures before.
Yeah, it's a lot. They're
It is a lot.
It's a lot. I just can't, imagine being, in the house, being the little girls in.
Oh, I can't imagine either what they went through.
Me
You
neither.
know what? I can't either.
And they were probably okay. I mean, they were probably okay. There was smoke and everything up there, but because that door was
help
closed.
them bring
They
down
were
the
probably
group
okay.
responsible for setting.
It's as soon as he opened that door on the bottom, they were done for.
And see, this is where I get confused, because I was told by a very good source, which he was and I've talked to Todd Trent, I'm not going to lie, and he's the one that told it to me, that Adam Ayers is the one that threw the rock through the window. Now, was that thrown before, Drew Yoder entered the house? Was it thrown while Drew Yoder was in the house? When was that rock thrown? Was it thrown, before the fire department got there and nobody knew that window was broke out? Or why didn't anybody have a ladder that they could put up to that window?
To get them girls out.
Oh, hell, I could have just grabbed somebody's foot and threw them up on top of the porch roof. And you would have been right there at the windows, you know?
Yep.
And you could have busted the windows out then and helped the girls out. I just...
And you would have never had the backflash of the fire that went up the staircase. And
exactly.
Because I believe by then the oldest shut the door. The door was shut. She shut the door. Okay, the door
was
shut.
Yoder... Someone asked, why was
Yoder screaming? What did she mean by that?
Exactly. Well, because something went wrong in the house. In the video footage of the dash cam, if you rewind to the beginning of the video, you'll see it. Something happened. Either he got stuck, his air pack was low on oxygen, it was already beeping and telling him he doesn't have much time to breathe. You can't breathe in the smoke.
And then you hear him yell, and it's like,
so he's like
then
help!
beeping, like, and he goes down. It's like he goes back down the steps or something, because he was going in the room. He was already opening the door.
Yeah,
going in that room.
Exactly.
And once he got the door open, I think that's when the it just flashed back up. And I believe that's what Todd Trent told me too. So, and you know,
it is intense. And you know what? This is a case that's gone on for 7 years, and I'm just at this point in time, in my personal opinion, I'm going to say I do not think there's going to be a resolution in this case.
I don't think so either. I don't foresee anyone coming forward. I don't foresee the police solving it, because I don't think they're working on it. So, I mean, they say they do, but they say they have to talk to Galen, and I don't know what they mean. I mean, they're the ones that led the narrative the whole time that she did it. You know, they're the ones that have the belief that she knows somebody that did it or had something to do with it. I mean, you guys, she did not really know many people in that community. I mean, she had a select few of friends. She wasn't like nobody really knew her. So I that's why I'm really confused about either the Patrick Westfall, the Brad, that whole situation. How would they have known her?
Right.
I mean, like, it's not, I mean, people, you know, something like this is just so personal. You know, you know, I know a lot of fires, you know, come from firefighters or a lot of arsonists. I know that. You know, reasons for a fire, another to start a fire, insurance, you know.
Right. Yeah.
I know the fire that my niece was in, that was gang related. Okay.
Right.
The people that she was babysitting for angered somebody, and that was gang related. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, I do know that. Okay. So then I sit and think, Galen was the sweetest person in the whole wide world. There was nobody mad at her that I know of. I mean, unless it was the ex-boyfriend, Colton Creasy. That's the only one I could ever think of that would have that type of anger. And wait, I've seen pictures of him and the little girl together. Piddle. So it's like, Piddle, sorry. And so I was like, why would he do it then? You know, I just couldn't see him going in and starting a fire to kill Galen and her girls because he's angry that she's dating another guy. I mean, that's kind of...
You never know.
But you never know.
Like this happen because of a relationship failure.
It's true. It's true. But I don't notice, like you're saying, like the change in him. I don't know that he had that change. So, okay. So, all right. He's in love with Galen, wants to be with her and the girls. He goes in and he you know, and now they died. It was an accident or whatever. So now he can go on and live a normal life, but Adam Randall is, you know, can't. So,
yeah, see? That doesn't make sense. No.
Yeah, so this guy, the ex-boyfriend, he can just go on and be normal. Well, I mean, he's not really normal. He's one of those, what do you call, I wanted to say Al-Anon, but that's for alcoholics. The white mask kind of people. What is that? What do they call those
What?
people? Anonymous. Is it anonymous?
Oh, the anonymous.
Something?
Yeah, anonymous. Yeah.
He kind of does that kind of stuff. He believes in the what do they call those when they have the in the sky where the planes leave chemical trails?
Comets.
Chemical
Oh,
trails.
chemtrails.
Yeah, the chemtrails. Oh, there you go. He believes in that kind of stuff. So that's like he went on living his weird life where Adam Randall went ballistic. I don't know.
Yeah, big time.
So see that don't make sense. It just doesn't really hardly make sense.
No.
And then people when they talk about the oldness and the this and that Vinlander and the gang. I've never been around a motorcycle ever tried to cause any violence to children. Matter of fact, we do motorcycle rides to help children.
Right.
And even the motorcycle gang in the whole wide world that I've ever been around in my life. I've been around outlaws. I've been around some of the Sons of Silence. I've met Hell's Angels.
Yeah, they're
never
right there,
in my lifetime. I've never in my lifetime never seen a motorcycle group or whatever that would be out to kill children. A mother and her children. I mean, maybe there is one, but I've never seen them in Indiana, so that one doesn't fly with me either. So
people overthink these things when the answer is probably the most simplest.
I'm with the insurance thing. I'm with set the house on fire. There's a lot of fires over there in Flora. There's a lot of slum. The house that Patrick Westfall lived in, there was a fire in that one too, guys.
And what about that one guy? What about that? Wait, what about that one guy? You know who I'm talking about? He lives. Okay, so you remember where my studio was in Flora, right there on the main road, like where the town hall is, across from Mark, the tattoo shop and stuff, by the thrift store and everything. That road. Okay. So that road.
I'll be right back, you guys.
If you go from that road away from downtown, away from town hall, and head towards, you cross Columbia, and you keep going that way. There's a guy that lives down that road. That his house caught on fire and his like wife and kids died in it. Okay. Okay. He never got in trouble for that.
Well, and remember who the first responders were that showed up to that?
I don't.
I think it was Dysinger and Randall.
Jeez, imagine that.
They're heroes in a lot of fires. Dysinger is.
There it is. Jennifer just asked the dentist guy.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I'm talking about.
I can't think of his name because I just have to tell you, I think he was my dentist too at one time. No. Well, it wasn't Jones, was it? No. Jones.
Hold on,
was
I'm
my
about
dentist.
to tell you.
I can't.
Brian Wagner.
Yeah, it was Wagner.
Wait, no.
It was Wagner.
Dr. Brian Wagner. Yep. Yes.
Yeah, Wagner.
Yep. 2009. Yep. The Wagner family. That's it. That's the only thing the father and husband whose family was killed. Yeah.
Garage caught on or something, and he left in a vehicle. Didn't the Wagner guy or something?
So he did something kind of sketchy, and people were kind of like, he did it. There is a lot of public scrutiny upon that guy right now, everybody. And let me tell you something about that. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about it. So it says that his name was Brian Wagner, and what happened was it says a house caught fire and it took the lives of a mother and 2 young children. The fire started during a thunderstorm. Everybody was in shock. It says 40-year-old Leah Wagner and her 7-year-old son Harrison and 4-year-old daughter Sophia all died in the blaze. Husband and father Brian Wagner was the sole survivor. He says we can find absolutely nothing that points to anything but an accidental fire, said Flora Fire Chief Scott Sisson at the time. It says, despite working smoke detectors and a detailed escape plan, Sisson said the blaze was too intense for Wagner to save his family. Instead, he drove through his garage door and went to a neighbor's house for help. Local and state fire investigators are still trying to pinpoint the cause of origin on the fire. There was not one point that we have found that we can say that here's where it started. Sisson said it started in several places at once. That's the one thing we're looking into, is the lighting factor with the electrical issues. The population of Flora is just over 2,000, so the impact of the deaths is being felt not just by the families, but the entire community. That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, well, even Josh Ayers' company that he has, what is it, Clementine? Didn't that catch fire too? A lot of fire. There was just a fire over there last week, I think. I think I just saw it on that. What was that? Carroll County, which I'm sure everybody sees it because, Carroll County has 5,000 residents, but in our Carroll County News and Information page, we have 20,000 people.
I know, they're all from somewhere else. And I'm gonna answer this comment. So Kip, it says, and I'm gonna answer this question for you, and I'm gonna do it, and I want everyone else to take note in case anybody asks questions like this. So, is Meow running the foundation without Galen's blessing? That sounds sketch. Please clarify that situation. I will say that currently, right now, that we're gonna refrain from commenting on this topic. However, I can say that right now the family has previously said, please don't make any contributions until further notice.
Right.
As far as who's running that foundation, what's going on with that foundation, we're going to remain no comment on that subject.
And that's only because there's things behind the scenes that are happening.
Yeah, and it's not any place for us to comment on anything, and we're just going to let things play out the right way. So we won't talk about that kind of stuff today.
But just please do not make any donations right now on the behalf of Flora to anyone.
Yeah, actually, there is nothing that is, nothing that, exactly. Yeah, because the family
just hold off
are,
until.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And for those of you that are curious, we'll update you in the future with more information. But for right now, we'll not comment on that, and you guys can take that how you will. But it's just an important issue that needs to be addressed in the proper manner, and YouTube is not the place to do that.
Yep.
So we will update you when we can on that.
Yeah. Well, Kathy,
we promise. We
Yeah.
definitely promise.
Kathy,
I appreciate you guys
so much.
Oh no, thank you guys. I mean, I would be more than happy to do this anytime. You guys are awesome, both of you. I mean, this was my whole intent in the beginning. I just want the girls' names to be there. Know their names, say their names, demand justice in their names.
Exactly.
Because if we don't, no one will. And I just kind of wanted to talk about that little thing, Marv, a little bit that we were talking about, when we were looking at the pictures and Mark Tate was there and Randy and all of us. And that was such a wonderful walk, you guys. The love and everything that was felt, all the people that was there, that, Randy and all of us have been talking with Marv and everybody. And we just want to continue these type of walks for all these families.
Yes.
Mark, Tate, Tabitha walk, Abby, Libby, the Flora. There's so much negativity that we need to be there for these families and stop all this. We need more positivity and more demanding of justice for the victims, and instead of all these other people screaming, "We're a victim. I'm the victim. Oh my God, somebody did something to me on YouTube and now I'm a victim." No.
Yeah.
The real victims are these families, and they need our help. They do.
Yes.
And
we are going to have a walk for Tabitha this year.
We are,
Besides
and I'm there.
the vigil.
I'm there. You know it.
Besides the
Our
vigil,
shirts,
every
green
year we
shirts.
are going to have a walk.
Yep, and we're doing it. We're doing it. And Randy is Randy wants to do a Flora walk, and we've been talking. Probably April. We're going to try to do something in April, and we're talking about maybe meeting at Crown Hill up there in Indianapolis, because they let you walk and bike there. You know, in their cemetery. There's
It
a
would
lot
be
of
awesome.
bikers.
It would be awesome if we could do a walk for Flora on on that Saturday and a walk for Tabitha on Sunday, so that I could be to both.
Well, you let us know when you're coming, and Randy and I will plan it.
Awesome.
You know we will.
Awesome.
I appreciate you guys. You guys can see I'm sitting here squirming. I think I'm gonna have to go to the bathroom.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
And plus,
we're going on.
You guys look. You guys do this all the time, and I'm sure you have wonderful chairs. I work in an office, so I have the beautiful office chair. But I'm sitting here on this wooden
I know
chair
Hold on.
in the dining room.
Do you see what this is? Do you see what this is? Wood.
Oh,
Okay,
he's
it's wood.
got a pillow he sits on.
Don't tell everybody, man. I'm trying to look taller.
Marv, I didn't think about the pillow.
I thought you had the pillow just to protect your skinny butt.
It is. It's like bones on wood, man. It's like weird.
Yeah.
Thanks, Kathy, for coming on here.
There's a lot that we're planning, that we're working on with Kathy. So stay tuned. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
There's a lot.
And other creators. We want to bring in Coach Kev and anybody that wants to talk about it and be a part of it. And in any case, I mean, I'm willing to do anything. I want to help anybody. I just, I'm just so tired of being, I just want to get out there and spread the word for everyone. Let's do this, Mark. Let's do this. I can't wait. I'm excited. I can't wait to bring Jinx in and Randy and Thomas and Chris.
Yes.
And it's gonna be a good one. It really is.
Exactly.
Anthony,
and
I know
we're
you're
gonna
not coming, right?
Maybe. We'll see how I figure things out.
You're just gonna stay out there in Seattle?
Yeah, I mean, maybe eventually I might be back.
Yeah. You're doing good there. I really like
trying.
all the you're doing good.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Your channel's doing good. You and Barb are great together. You guys are great together.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm trying. We're trying our best.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna let you go so that you can go to the bathroom and get off.
All right, I'll let you go because I think the iPad's at 3%.
Okay. Thanks so
Kathy.
much for coming on. We're gonna have you again. We'll keep everyone updated.
All right. Love all you guys. Thank you so much, everybody in the audience.
All right,
Love
Kathy.
you too.
Bye.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kathy. All right, everybody.
Awesome. Cool, man.
That was good. I'm so glad that we got to talk to her and, get her knowledge, get your knowledge of the area. It's so invaluable to me, who's not from that area. So I really appreciate the fact that she came on here and that you will co-host this with me and help me learn what I need to learn about this case.
It's a lot.
And I am so looking forward to our partnership with Kathy and Galen in the future when she's ready, and being able to be a voice for these 4 girls.
Right. Yeah, and we have to be. I mean, because no one else is doing it, ladies and gentlemen. And I mean, I've been to jail over this case. So it's a lot.
And we're definitely going to bring in other creators. We want to work with Frosty. We want to work with Coach Kev. We want to work with Indie Archive and Jinx and everybody, that this case is special to. So, absolutely. We're looking forward to the future and helping out with this case as much as we can.
Definitely. So I have like the memorial walk and like the outro of that Flora video to play everybody. It's probably about 6 or 7 minutes long. It's the video that Indie Archive did. I'm relatively there at the end of the video, so I figured we could just play that as an outro.
Yeah, and just, spam them purple hearts in the chat as you're watching this outro. Remember these 4 girls. They were human beings. They were loved. And we need to keep their names out there. And we need to find a way to get justice for them.
Yep. So?
All right, everybody. Love to you all. Remember, justice matters. Anthony?
And on that note, everybody, I'm Anthony Greeno here at True Crime Investigates, dual streaming with Beyond the Evidence and Marv. Thanks for those purple hearts, y'all. Until next time, as always, justice for one, justice for all, justice in Flora. Keep it Southern style, y'all.
2023, the house was demolished. Galen Rose made one last stop to say goodbye. The 7 years is too long for justice. Randy Gravett, along with Kathy Clendenning, hosted a memorial walk event in Flora, where the Aunt Jackie of the 4 girls was present and made a statement. And to the family of the victims, you are not alone. You will never be alone. True Crime Investigates fans, myself, and other creators are still pursuing justice in hopes that one day we will stand united in Flora, Indiana, and finally say, today is the day in Flora.